This idea of mine is called falling into a trap. Vice Palace Master Lu, according to my observation, after the Saintess heard about my background, her eyes turned red. Maybe she has some secrets. I'll start from this point and find a breakthrough. Sheng Envy said. However, this alone won't do. I'll tell her that I'm pretending to listen to your orders, Vice Palace Master Lu. In fact, my heart is with her. As long as you cooperate with me and complete 1 or 2 unimportant tasks, she will definitely trust me. After gaining her trust, I can think of a way to get the mnemonic formula. After I get the mnemonic formula, I will fall out with her. What do you think of this idea of mine? This is something that I have thought of for a few days. Yun Chuzhou said proudly. Vice Palace Master Lu pondered for a moment. A smile appeared on his face. Miss Chuchu is indeed extremely intelligent. It is not in vain for me to have such high hopes for you. This idea of yours is very good. Go ahead and do it. If you need my cooperation, you only need to send a message to Zheng Mama. Vice Palace Master Lu, although you are broad-minded and do not doubt the people you use, in order to prevent you from having any misgivings, I will swear an inner demon oath. I, Lin Chuchu, swear to the heavens that I will be loyal to Vice Palace Master Lu. If I violate this oath, I will be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. Yun Chuzhou said solemnly. Vice Palace Master Lu had a trace of doubt in his heart, but now it was completely dispelled. The smile on his old face also became more sincere. Miss Chuchu, then I'll wait for your good news. After I get my hands on the mnemonic chant, I'll help you become the Saintess once and for all. Thank you, Vice Palace Master Lu. I'll definitely gain the trust of the Saintess as soon as possible. Please wait for the good news. The smile on Yun Chuzhou's face was also very sincere. After the conversation between the two ended happily, Zheng Mama asked the maid to send Yun Chuzhou back to the Saintess Palace. Vice Palace Master Lu, that Lin Chuchu won't play any tricks, right? Zheng Mama was a little doubtful. She had a feeling that something was not right. Lin Chuchu is just an orphan girl. She won't be able to stir up any trouble. Moreover, she has already made an oath in her heart. She doesn't dare to do anything to let me down. Her method is very good. She will definitely be able to get the incantation. Moreover, I am also looking forward to the expression on that slut's face when she finds out that she has been deceived. Vice Palace Master Liu's face revealed a sinister sneer. Hearing Vice Palace Master Liu's words, Zheng Mama also felt that it was very reasonable. She put down the doubt in her heart and prepared to see Yun Chuzhou's next move. After Yun Chuzhou entered the Saintly Virgin Palace, she didn't go back to the dormitory. Instead, she went straight to the main hall of the Saintly Virgin Palace. At the entrance of the main hall, the maid on duty saw Yun Chuzhou and bowed. Miss Chuzhou, no one is allowed to enter the main hall. Please leave. You also said that no one is allowed to enter. I'm not an idle person. I'm a busy person. Quickly go in and inform the Saintly Virgin that Lin Chuzhou is asking to see the Saintly Virgin. She has something important to tell her. Sheng Envy said. The two maids on duty looked at each other. One of the maids said, Miss Chuchu, please wait for a moment. This servant will go in and report to Sheng Envy. A moment later the maid walked out. Miss Chuchu, Sheng Envy is not feeling well today. You should come back another day. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes. This beautiful mother of mine is really difficult to deal with. This move of hers to avoid meeting her is to adapt to all kinds of changes. She can't even see her own person. Even if she has some tricks up her sleeve, she can't do it. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes, and then her eyes turned red. Tears fell from her eyes. What? Sheng Envy is not feeling well? Oh my god. How could such a thing happen? Sheng Envy is sick, and I have to go in to visit her. Otherwise, I won't be able to eat well and sleep. The maid obviously did not expect Yun Chuzhou to say so, and quickly said, I will pass on Miss Chuzhou's thoughts to Sheng Envy. But Sheng Envy needs to rest, so please go back, Miss Chuzhou. Wow, this maid's reaction is pretty good. Unfortunately, you met me, Yun Chuzhou. What are you talking about? Do you think I will make a big fuss when I go in? Can I just visit you? Is it Sheng Envy who doesn't want to see me, or you, a slave, deliberately making things difficult for me? Don't tell me you want something from me? Yun Chujo said angrily. The maid was so scared that she kneeled on the ground. Miss Chuchu, I didn't mean that. Sheng Envy really needs to rest and not be disturbed. Humph. Nice. I think you two are trying to get something out of me. Tell me, how much do you want to pay me to see Sheng Envy? I've heard that the king of hell is easy to deal with, but I don't know what that means. Now I finally understand. No wonder the saintess didn't summon me these days. Maybe she wanted you to inform me, and then you all hid it. Sheng Envy thought. Otherwise, how could such a kind person like the saintess neglect me, the successor? Alright, since I can't see the saintess, then I'll go see Vice Palace Master Lu. I believe he'll be very interested in you two brats, Sheng Envy said. The two handmaidensheds were covered in cold sweat, and they were even trembling. One of the handmaidens hurriedly said, Miss Chuchu, this servant will go in and report. Please wait a moment. After saying that, the handmaidens ran inside as if they were running for their lives. In the main hall, the saintess and Mama were talking. That Lin Chuchu has been fooling around with those secret guards all day recently. I think she's also a playful person. She was called out today. She must have been reprimanded by Lu Huanhua before she came to my place. Sheng Envy, the young master, is indeed very resourceful. This move of avoiding her is something that Lin Chuchu can't do anything about. No matter how many evil ideas she has, she won't be able to use it. Sheng Envy thought of her husband and her eyes revealed a touch of tenderness. Not bad, this move of avoiding her is indeed not bad. That Lin Chuchu doesn't seem to be a resilient person. She will retreat after a few times. As the two of them were talking, a maid ran in panic. Sheng Envy, help! Mama angrily rebuked. What's wrong with panicking? What happened? The maid repeated what Yun Chujo said, then knelt down and said, Sheng Envy, if Miss Chuchu really went to find Vice Palace Master Lu, our lives will be lost. Please save us. Sheng Envy slammed her palm on the table. This Lin Chuchu is really detestable. She is simply a scoundrel. The grand successor of Sheng Envy actually threatened two maids. Sheng Envy, why don't you let her in and just send her away with a few words? Otherwise, it would be easy to get something on her. Mama saw that the maid was scared out of her wits, so she tried to persuade her. Well, in that case, let Lin Chuchu come in. Sheng Envy said through gritted teeth. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Miss Chujo, the Sheng Envy wants you to go in. The maid rushed to the door of the main hall and panted. Yun Chujo said with a smile, why are you sweating all over? Are you scared by me? You guys are really honest. I'm just playing with you. After saying that, Yun Chujo hopped into the main hall. The two maids felt as if their hearts were going crazy. Are you playing with us? Is there such a joke? Are you trying to scare us to death? As soon as Yun Chujo entered the main hall, she said anxiously, Sheng Envy, are you all right? I heard that you are not feeling well. What is it that you are feeling unwell from? Is it a headache or a fever? Have you seen the doctor? Have you taken any medicine? When did you start feeling unwell? What kind of symptoms do you have? Sheng Envy's face stiffened. I'm much better now. Why did you ask to see me? If there's nothing else, you can leave now. Sheng Envy, you don't know. When I heard that you were unwell, my heart felt like it was being cut by a knife. You also know that I'm an orphan. I've always envied those children who have a mother who dotes on them. For some reason, although I've never seen your appearance, I still feel very close to you. If I didn't know that you couldn't possibly be my mother, I really would have thought that my mother had returned. Woo woo little cabbage, yellow soil, 2 or 3 years old, no mother. Yun Chujo started singing miserably, wiping her tears as she sang. Sheng Envy's heart was already thinking about her adopted daughter, whom she had not seen for many years. How could she bear this? She also started crying. Yun Chujo stole a few glances at Sheng Envy. She thought to herself, this cheap adoptive mother seems to really love her. It was not in vain for her to go into the tiger's den to save her. Mama saw that Sheng Envy was also crying, and Yun Chujo was also crying. She almost went numb. What was going on? Sheng Envy, didn't you say that you would send Yun Chujo away with just a few words? Why are you crying with me? After a while, Sheng Envy took out a handkerchief to wipe her tears. She returned to her usual cold look. Lin Chujo, thank you for your concern for me. Since you've seen that I'm safe and sound, you can go back. I want to go back and rest. Yun Chujo suddenly raised her voice. Sheng Nv. Although I know that there are some things that I shouldn't say, I still want to say them for the sake of your health. You've been locked up in this room all day. How can you be healthy and healthy? The weather outside is so good, and the sun is so bright. You should go out for a walk. Anyway, I have nothing to do. I'll accompany you to the garden for a walk. After saying that, Yun Chujo directly jumped to the side of the Sheng Nv and grabbed the Sheng Nv's arm to pull her out. Even in her dreams, the Sheng Nv never thought that Yun Chujo would be so bold as to directly pull her out. Imama was about to go up and pull Yun Chujo away unexpectedly. Yun Chujo yelled at Imama, Imama, don't forget your identity. I Lin Chuchu am the successor of the Sheng Nv. The Sheng Nv is my master and my mother. What's wrong with me accompanying my master and my mother for a stroll in the garden? Get lost. Imama did not dare to take another step forward. Yun Chujo was right. Yun Chujo was the master and Imama was the slave. If she really tried to drag Yun Chujo away, she would be offending her superior. The saintess snorted coldly and was about to push Yun Chujo away. Sheng Nv. Unexpectedly, Yun Chujo said with a cheeky smile, Saintess, if you push me away, I will lie on the ground and not get up. Do you think Vice Palace Master Lu will say that you are too narrow-minded to accept me? When the time comes, he might directly use this excuse to cripple you. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Good. Very good. Lin Chuchu, I have underestimated you. I will accompany you to admire the flowers and see what tricks you are playing. Sheng Nv had never seen such a scoundrel before. At that moment, there was nothing she could do except to say some harsh words. She could only let Yun Chujo walk out of the main hall of the Saintly Virgin Palace while holding her arm. When the two maids on duty at the door saw Yun Chujo and the saintess walk out with their arms in hand, they were so shocked that their mouths could not close. Didn't they say that the saintess did not like this Lin Chuchu? Why did the two of them walk out with their arms in hand? Moreover, the smile on Lin Chuchu's face was too bright. Could it be that the saintess had changed her attitude towards Sheng Nv? Since that was the case, they had better go in and inform Sheng Nv as soon as possible if Lin Chuchu came again in the future. Otherwise, the saintess might blame them. If the two handmaidens saw the angry look under Sheng Nv's veil, they would not think so. However, Sheng Nv only showed her eyes, so they had this wonderful misunderstanding. Yun Chujo walked with Sheng Nv. Whether it was the handmaidens or the guards hidden in the dark, they were all dumbfounded. Damn it, when did Lin Chujo and Sheng Nv become so close? Yun Chujia's mouth was not idle. Saintess, do you feel much better after coming out for a walk? As the saying goes, happiness is a day, and unhappiness is also a day. Why don't you live a day happily? You have to be happy. Also, people should always bask in the sun, or else their bodies will get worse. Especially people with old illnesses. If they always stay in the room, their illness will definitely worsen. Sheng Nv suddenly stopped in her tracks and stared at Yun Chujo with a malicious gaze. Lin Chujo, no matter what your motive is, if you set your eyes on him, I won't forgive you. Yun Chujo giggled. Sheng Nv, what are you talking about? I don't understand. Hurry up, we're almost at the garden. Let's go admire the flowers. Mama, remember to tell the maids to prepare pastries, tea and spirit fruits. Sheng Nv wants to eat. Mama snorted in her heart. Sheng Nv wants to eat. You want to eat, right? She originally thought that this Lin Chujo was a gluttonous and playful little girl, but she didn't expect that she was actually a little scoundrel. Seeing that Yun Chujo didn't answer her question, Sheng Nv naturally didn't say anything more. Although many people knew of Yun Zanking's existence, it was still inappropriate to mention it openly. Yun Chujo accompanied Sheng Nv to admire the flowers for a while, then said with a smile, Sheng Nv, you must be tired, right? Let's go to the gazebo to rest for a while. Sheng Nv snorted and agreed. At first she was very angry, but later she also became numb. It was true that all these years, she had been afraid all day and rarely had the leisure to admire the flowers. After walking for a while, she seemed to feel much more relaxed. Yoon Chujio and Shang Envi came to the pavilion. There were pastries, spiritual fruits, and tea on the stone table. Yoon Chujio poured Shang Envi a cup of tea, poured herself a cup, and then drank it in one gulp. "It's really good tea," Yoon Chujio said with a look of enjoyment. Shang Envi snorted. "It's just a cow chewing peonies." "Shang Envi, you are too knowledgeable." This description was too appropriate. "My admiration for you is like a torrential river. I have never met a woman as beautiful and talented as you. You are my idol." Yoon Chujio blinked her starry eyes and said. Shang Envi was stunned. She had never heard such undisguised flattery in her entire life. She could not tell what she was feeling at the moment. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. "Shang Envi, please have some tea. I want to see what tea tasting is." Alas, as a motherless child, no one taught me what tea tasting is. All I know is that I can eat my fill and wear warm clothes. Yoon Chujio's eyes were slightly red. She pretended to be strong and said. Seeing this, Shang Envi thought of her poor adopted daughter and couldn't bear to say something sarcastic. She picked up the teacup and started drinking tea. The Shang Envi explained some knowledge about tea to Yoon Chujio while drinking. Yoon Chujio asked a few questions from time to time, and the atmosphere between the two of them was very warm. After a while, Yoon Chujio took the initiative to say, "Shang Envi, we have been out for quite a while. You should go back and rest. Why doesn't Mama hurry up and serve the Shang Envi back? You really don't have any eyesight." Mama's heart was like a muttering dog. Did this Lin Chuchu really think of her as her master? What do you mean she doesn't have any vision at all? It was you who dragged Shang Envi into the garden, okay? You're pretending to be a good person now. Shang Envi only realized then that she had actually chatted with Yoon Chujio for such a long time. She couldn't help but feel a little annoyed and said coldly, Mama, let's go back." Yoon Chujio eagerly went forward and held the Shang Envi's arm. Mama is old, and her limbs are not very flexible. Let me send you back." The Shang Envi could not be bothered to argue with her. She thought to herself that she would think of a way to send Yoon Chujio away when they reached the main hall. Unexpectedly, when they reached the main hall, Yoon Chujio said with a smile, "Shang Envi, I won't go in with you. Have a good rest after you go back." Shang Envi was stunned and subconsciously asked, "What are you going to do?" Yoon Chujio showed a surprised expression. "Shang Envi, are you reluctant to leave me? I originally wanted to go and play with the secret guards. If you are reluctant to leave me, I won't go. I will accompany you to have a chat. If you want to give me a meal, that's fine too." Shang Envi finally swallowed the word, "get lost," that was about to come out of her mouth. She said coldly, "You are thinking too much. I am just asking casually." Yoon Chujio's small face immediately revealed a disappointed expression. "Oh, since you don't need me to accompany you, then I'll leave." Yoon Chujio lowered her head and turned her head 3 times before leaving. For some reason, Shang Envi couldn't bear to see her leave, so she steeled her heart and walked into the main hall. Shang Envi went straight to the study room. Yoon Zhongqing saw that Shang Envi's eyes were a little red, so he asked with concern, "Biyun, what's wrong?" Shang Envi sighed. "Lin Chuchu came to see me today. When I saw her, I couldn't help but think of our little Jiao. I felt that this Lin Chuchu was also a child with a hard life, so I couldn't bear to say anything more." "Oh. Didn't I tell you to avoid meeting her? Why did you still meet her?" Yoon Zhongqing asked in confusion. Shang Envi told him what had happened. Then she said, "Little Jiao was also a bit of a scoundrel during the competition. But I think this Lin Chuchu is even more scoundrel than little Jiao. I reckon she'll come back tomorrow. Just thinking about it gives me a headache." "Biyun, according to what you said, Lu Huanhua must have been in a hurry to get the mnemonic chant, which forced that Lin Chuchu to get close to you. The reason she got close to you was to gain your trust and then get the mnemonic chant. So try not to see her. Even if you see her, try not to talk to her," Yoon Zhongqing said after thinking for a while. "Okay, I'll do as you say, husband." When Yoon Chujio saw the Saintess enter, she immediately swept away her dejected look and hopped off to look for those secret guards. This fellow had recently become addicted to this kind of picking a fight game. She felt that it was really interesting to see those secret guards look like they had nothing to live for. The incident that happened in the Saintess Palace quickly reached Vice Palace Master Liu's ears. Vice Palace Master Liu was very happy. This Lin Chuchu was really quite capable. She had actually made progress so quickly. If this continued, he believed that she would soon be able to gain the Saintess Trust and obtain the mnemonic chant. It was only a matter of time before she would be able to do so. The next day, the Saintess waited for a day with slight anxiety in her heart. She was afraid that Yun Chuzhou would play some tricks to pester her again. She did not expect that Yun Chuzhou would not come at all. However, she did not expect that Yun Chuzhou would not come at all. At the same time that the Saintess heaved a sigh of relief in her heart, she also felt a faint sense of disappointment. She could not help but shake her head. What was wrong with her? It was probably because of little Jiu that she had some empathy. It was obvious that Lin Chuzhou harbored evil intentions. She could not be muddled. On the third day, Sheng Envy felt that Yun Chuzhou would definitely come. She did not expect that Yun Chuzhou still did not make a move. At noon, Sheng Envy still could not help but ask Mama Yi, "What has Lin Chuzhou been busy with these 2 days?" Sheng Envy, that Lin Chuchu has been eating, drinking, and fooling around with those secret guards these 2 days. Imama didn't like Yun Chuzhou to begin with, and now she was even more displeased. Sheng Envy nodded. It seemed that Lin Chuchu was just on a whim the day before yesterday. It was better this way. If she continued to pester her, she would really have a headache. On the 4th morning, Sheng Envy had just arrived at the main hall when the maid on duty rushed in. "Sheng Envy, Lin Chuchu is outside asking for an audience. Tell her that I'm not feeling well and ask her to." "Sheng Envy, I'm here to see you. Are you not feeling well again? Come on, let's go outside." Yun Chuzhou jumped in from outside the hall and said with a smile. Imama shouted angrily, "Miss Chuzhou, you can't enter the main hall without Sheng Envy's summons. How dare you barge in? This is too much." Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes. "Barge in? I just swaggered in here. Imama, I won't punish you if your eyesight isn't good enough. Sheng Envy, the weather outside is very good today. Let's go out for a walk." After saying that, Sheng Envy shamelessly went to the side of Sheng Envy and pulled her by the arm. Imama was so angry that she didn't want to do anything, but her identity was still there. She could only look at the Saintess, hoping that she could punish Yun Chuzhou. Sheng Envy shook off Yun Chuzhou's arm and said coldly, "Since you're young and ignorant, I won't pursue you this time. I'm not in the mood to go out today. You can go back." "Saintess, you don't want to go out? That's great. I actually don't want to go out either, so I'll stay here and chat with you. Imama, stop pretending to be a wooden stake. Why don't you hurry up and prepare tea and snacks for Sheng Envy and me?" Yun Chuzhou said. She took out a small stool from her storage ring and placed it next to Sheng Envy's seat. Then she looked at Sheng Envy with a smile. The Saintess and Imama were both stunned. They felt that they had underestimated Yun Chuzhou's shamelessness. There was no one else who would bring a stool as a guest. Yun Chuzhou took out a handful of melon seeds from her storage ring and stuffed them into the Saintess' hands. "Saintess, let's not talk while eating. Let me tell you about how I fought my way to the final victory of Sheng Envy." This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Sheng Envy was confused by Yun Chuzhou's shameless behavior. By the time she reacted, Yun Chuzhou had already stuffed a handful of melon seeds into her hand. As for Yun Chuzhou, she was already happily munching on melon seeds. "Sheng Envy, you don't know who came up with the bad idea during the 2nd round of training. They only serve a small amount of food at noon every day. However, with my unparalleled wisdom, not only did I eat my fill, even my roommates followed me. Are you curious about how I did it?" Yun Chuzhou asked with a smile. Sheng Envy looked at the scattered melon seeds on the ground with a dumbfounded look and asked subconsciously, "How did you do it?" "Sheng Envy, let me tell you Yun Chuzhou began to tell her story vividly. At first, Sheng Envy was absent-minded, but later, she was attracted by Yun Chuzhou's story and asked a few questions from time to time. Yun Chuzhou touched her belly as she spoke. "Sheng Envy, it's noon now. Can you give me some food? I didn't even have breakfast to see you early in the morning. And now I'm starving to death. Shang Envy's heart softened when she saw Yun Chujia's pitiful look. Mama. Get someone to prepare lunch. Mama could only order the maids to prepare lunch. Soon the food was served. Yun Chujio didn't know what courtesy was. She ate happily and said, Shang Envy, the food here is really good. Shang Envy glanced at her and said, the food I usually give you is the same as mine. How come the food here is so delicious? Shang Envy, you don't know this. The key is not what to eat but who to eat with. If I eat with you, even if it's just plain food, I think it's delicious. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Shang Envy looked at Yun Chujia's eyes and couldn't help but be stunned. For a moment, she felt that this pair of eyes in front of her was exactly the same as the young little Jiao. Shang Envy shook her head. How could this Lin Chuchu be little Jiao? She must have been thinking too much recently, so she had hallucinations. Yun Chujio picked up a lot of food for Shang Envy with the chopsticks. Shang Envy, you have to eat more. No matter what you do, this body is the first. I always put food first. That's why I went from a little orphan girl to Shang Envy's successor. Shang Envy's eyes twitched. Nonsense. Shang Envy's successor was not a foodie. Although Shang Envy's face was cold, she still ate all the food Yun Chujio picked up. Yun Chujio was secretly happy. This beautiful mother was the kind of person who was cold on the outside but warm on the inside. She was the best at dealing with such a person. After the meal, Yun Chujio held the saint's arm and said, Saint, if you walk 100 steps after the meal, you will live 9,900 years. Let's go for a walk in the garden. The saint was indeed a little stuffed, so she did not shake off Yun Chujio this time. She followed Yun Chujio out of the main hall of the saint's palace. Yun Chujio chirped along the way, as happy as a bird released from a cage. The saint could not help but be infected, and her mood also became happy. Yun Chujio accompanied the saintess to walk around the garden a few times. After sending the saintess back to the main hall, she hopped off Shang Envy. Seeing that Yun Chujio had left, Mama immediately said, Saintess, that Lin Chujio clearly has bad intentions. Aren't you being too lenient with her? Shang Envy sighed. I know I shouldn't get too close to her, but I really can't bear to reject her. Besides, she's just accompanying me to talk and walk around the garden. I know what to say and what not to say. Shang Envy, you're too kind. That Lin Chuchu is an ingrate. If you can't bear to do it, she'll definitely harm you and young master in the future. Imama advised earnestly. Before Shang Envy could say anything, the door of the main hall was pushed open. Yun Chujio walked in with a smile. Mama, it's not a good habit to speak ill of others behind their backs. Fortunately, the person you met was me. If you met someone cruel and merciless, you would be dead. Imama and Shang Envy were shocked. Why are you back? I came to get my stool. They didn't expect to hear such explosive content. Imama, I didn't offend you, did I? Why do you always target me? Which of your eyes can tell that I look like an ingrate? I see that you look like a big-tailed wolf. Mama's old face turned red. She said with some exasperation, Miss Chuchu, you know whether you are sincere or pretending. Although I am a servant, if you want to harm our Shang Envy, I will not spare you even if I risk my life. Of course I mean it. How about I play with those secret guards? Aya, since you've said it like this, I'll tell you the truth. Shang Envy, do you think I'm one of Vice Palace Master Liu's men? Yun Chujio gritted her teeth. She looked determined. Shang Envy and Imama were stunned. Shang Envy frowned. Since Lin Chuchu had made it clear, there was nothing to hide, so she said indifferently, aren't you? How can an orphan girl without a background win in the end? Isn't it because of Vice Palace Master Liu's secret instructions? Yun Chujio smiled. Shang Envy, it's not impossible for you to say that. Vice Palace Master Liu naturally helped me to get to the end. After all, an orphan girl without a background is the best candidate to be a puppet. The saintess was shocked when she heard Yun Chujio say the word puppet. What did this Lin Chujio mean? I didn't expect you to be so self-aware. Let's not talk about whether you're a puppet for now. Vice Palace Master Liu must have arranged a mission for you, right? Do you want to get the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine? Give up on that thought. Even if I die, I won't tell you, Shang Envy said coldly. Shungenvi, you're too smart. You're absolutely right. That old bastard, Vice Palace Master Lu, told me so. Shungenvi staggered and almost fell down. Old bastard? Was this Lin Chuchu crazy? How dare she insult Vice Palace Master Lu? Lin Chuchu, what exactly do you mean? Shungenvi asked in confusion. She could not understand the little girl in front of her. Shungenvi, don't you understand what I mean? I'm on your side. That Vice Palace Master Lu is an old bastard. An old bastard. For his own selfish desires, he has repeatedly provoked disputes with the Tianyuan continent and caused the deaths of countless people. Most importantly, he was just a deputy hall master. What right did he have to lock you up? What right did he have to cover the sky with one hand? This was blasphemy against the spirit of the netherworld. Although I, Lin Chujio, am not a great hero, but I am also a member of the netherworld continent. How could I possibly help the evil? I pretended to listen to his arrangements. In fact, I wanted to cooperate with you to kill that old bastard. Yun Chujio said indignantly. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Shungenvi was stunned. Even in her dreams, she never thought that Yun Chujio would say such a thing. She couldn't react for a moment. You is what you said true? Shungenvi still couldn't believe it. Of course it's true. It's more real than a pearl. Why did I find those secret guards to play with? I just wanted to get familiar with their defenses so that we can do anything to avoid them. Besides, Vice Palace Master Lu will definitely think that I'm playful and won't have any thoughts. That way he won't suspect me. Yun Chujio said with a smile. Shungenvi was even more shocked. She didn't expect this little girl to look for those secret guards to play with her. She actually had a motive. This little girl's thoughts were really too deep. Shungenvi didn't say anything for a long time. Yun Chujio didn't urge her either. After all, this was a matter of life and death. It was impossible for her to believe it with just a few words. Lin Chuchu, although what you said seems reasonable, I still can't believe you, Shungenvi said lightly. Of course I understand. You can't have the intention to harm others, but you can't be careless. I will do a few beautiful things to make you believe me. Beautiful things? What do you plan to do? Shungenvi asked in confusion. Yun Chujio smiled mysteriously. This is a secret for now, but you have to cooperate with me. You have to pretend to be closer to me in the next few days so that I can do things easily. Shungenvi pondered for a moment. Okay, I'll give you 5 days. If you don't do your so-called beautiful things, I'll take it as all your lies. No problem. Shungenvi, just wait and see. I'll definitely do a top-notch beautiful task for you. Yun Chujio said confidently. For the next 3 days, Yun Chujio would come to Shungenvi's place for lunch every day. Then she would accompany Shungenvi to stroll around the garden, drinking tea and eating snacks. On the 4th day, Yun Chujio took out Nanny Zheng's voice transmission talisman and revealed a sly smile. Zheng Mama, I want to see Vice Palace Master Lu. I have something important to report to him. Zheng Mama quickly agreed. Yun Chujio thought to herself, spy within spy is quite fun. If it weren't for the fact that Jinji's father hadn't given her a straightforward answer, she would have directly introduced herself to her beautiful mother. Now it seemed that she would have to deal with her for a while. Moreover, there was still one more thing that she had to settle first. Sure enough, that afternoon, Zheng Mama found an excuse to call Yun Chujio out from the Saintly Virgin Palace. Yun Chujio followed Zheng Mama to the courtyard where they had met the last time and saw Vice Palace Master Lu. Vice Palace Master Liu's attitude was very gentle. Miss Chuchu, I've heard about your recent performance. I didn't expect you to gain the Saintess' favor so quickly. What do you want to report to me this time? Shungenvi asked Vice Palace Master Lu. I've gained the Saintess' trust according to the original plan, but she's still wary of me. So I have to do a few things to make her trust me completely. Shungenvi said. However, things that can make her happy will definitely hurt your interests, so I can only ask for your permission, Yun Chujio said with some difficulty. What you said makes sense. If you don't have enough sincerity, that slut won't believe you. What do you want to do? As long as it's not a particularly difficult thing to do, I will agree to it, Vice Palace Master Lu agreed very straightforwardly. He hadn't been able to make any progress over the years, and now that he finally saw a glimmer of hope, he naturally wouldn't let go of such a good opportunity. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. If I'm not wrong, you must be one of the people that the Saintess thinks she trusts. Tell me who it is and I'll think of a way to find out who it is. By then, the Saintess will have a lot more trust in me, said Shang Envy. If you do that, you'll lose one of your chess pieces. I wonder if you're willing to part with it? Yun Chuzhou seemed to be in a difficult position. This Vice Palace Master Lu was indeed a little hesitant. Although most of the people from the Netherworld Palace and the Saintly Virgin Palace were under his control, the Saintly Virgin Palace still had some people from the Saintly Virgin Palace. These people were highly trusted and valued by the Saintly Virgin Palace. As a matter of fact, the Saintly Virgin Palace still had some people from the Saintly Virgin Palace, such as Shang Envy and Shang Envy. Vice Palace Master Lu also spent a lot of effort to persuade one of them to surrender. Originally, he intended to let that person find out the mnemonic chant, but unfortunately, Shang Envy was very cautious. That person had not made any progress. Vice Palace Master Lu told that person to stay put and report the major and minor matters around the Saintess at any time. Vice Palace Master Lu would be able to know the movements of the Saintess at any time. It was also because of that person's report that Vice Palace Master Lu completely dispelled his suspicion of Yun Chuzhou. That person could be said to be very important. It was a pity to abandon him just like that. Seeing that Vice Palace Master Lu was hesitant, Yun Chuzhou did not urge him. She waited quietly. She was completely confident that Vice Palace Master Lu would agree because he really wanted to get the mnemonic chant. Sure enough, after a moment, Vice Palace Master Lu said, "All right, I'll tell you about that person. Miss Chuzhou, this is an extremely important chess piece of mine. Now, in order to get you to gain the trust of that bitch, I've given it up. You must not disappoint me. Otherwise, it won't be as simple as abolishing your successor as the Saintess." Yun Chuzhou naturally knew that Vice Palace Master Lu was threatening her. She said confidently, "Vice Palace Master Lu, don't worry. As long as I find a way to find that person, the Saintess will definitely believe in me. Who knows? I might be able to get other secrets besides the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine." After all, the Netherworld Shrine has existed for tens of thousands of years. Vice Palace Master Liu's eyes lit up. What Lin Chuchu said made sense. The Netherworld Shrine might have some big secrets. It would be great if he could find out. Vice Palace Master Lu said with satisfaction. Miss Chuchu is indeed very smart. The spy I planted in the Saintly Virgin Palace is... Yun Chuzhou looked surprised. It's her? Vice Palace Master Lu, how did you do it? You are too amazing. I really didn't expect it. If you hadn't told me, I wouldn't have believed it even if you beat me to death. She is very protective of the Saintess. If it weren't for her interference, I would have gotten close to the Saintess a long time ago, said Shang Envy. Vice Palace Master Lu looked pleased with himself. This is what makes her so brilliant. If it weren't for this, how could she hide for so many years without being discovered? If it weren't for you gaining the trust of that bitch, I would never have made a move on this chess piece. Vice Palace Master Lu. There's something I don't know if I should say. Oh? Say it. Vice Palace Master Lu looked at Yun Chuzhou in confusion. Vice Palace Master Lu. Let me make it clear first. I'm just making irresponsible guesses. Please don't blame me. The reason why that person didn't make any progress for so many years was firstly, that the Saintess was indeed more cautious. Secondly, that person was probably coveting his current position. After all, even if you get rid of the Shang Envy, her position in the future would not be better than now. Therefore she kept delaying. As long as the Shang Envy did not die, she would be able to maintain the status quo. This was also why she knew that I was your man. Why are you still making things difficult for me? Yun Chuzhou said with a cold smile. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. When Vice Palace Master Lu heard Yun Chuzhou's words, He was stunned at first, then, he smashed the desk with his palm. What you said makes sense. No wonder there hasn't been any progress for so many years. So that's what she has in mind. If it wasn't for you, Miss Choo Choo, who enlightened me, I would still have been kept in the dark. It's really detestable to the extreme. Vice Palace Master Lu, I'm just guessing. Perhaps I've wronged her. You should interrogate her yourself after I've brought her out. Yun Chujo said hesitantly. Vice Palace Master Lu snorted coldly. What you said is most likely true. Otherwise, there wouldn't have been so little progress. When she's driven out of the saintly Virgin Palace, I'll send someone to interrogate her then. Vice Palace Master Lu, in that case, I'll take my leave first. I still have to plan carefully when I go back. It's better to be safe than sorry. Zheng Mama, send Miss Choo Choo back to the saintly Virgin Palace. Yes. Yun Chujo followed Zheng Mama out of the courtyard. Yun Chujo said with a smile, Zheng Mama, do you have something to say to me? Miss Choo Choo, this old servant has really underestimated you. However, this old servant still has to give you a piece of advice. It's fine if you do your best to work for Vice Palace Master Lu. If you have any thoughts that you shouldn't have, Vice Palace Master Liu's thunderous anger is not something you can bear. Yun Chujo sighed. Zheng Mama, I'm an orphan girl with no background. What thoughts shouldn't I have? I just want to complete Vice Palace Master Liu's mission. If that's the case, it's naturally for the best. This old servant is just reminding you, Zheng Mama said lightly. Then thank you for your reminder, Zheng Mama. I will always remember my identity. After Yun Chujo returned to the dormitory of the Saintly Virgin Palace, she lay on the bed and sorted out her thoughts. Although there were some clues before, she really didn't expect that she was Vice Palace Master Liu's person. The beautiful mother was really easy to deceive. She had actually been deceived for so many years. How could she expose her? It was really quite troublesome. Yun Chujo thought for a long time but did not come up with any good ideas. This fellow had always been a big-hearted person. If she really could not think of anything, she might as well wash up and go to bed. The next morning, Yun Chujo woke up feeling refreshed. This fellow lay on the bed and continued to think of ways. Finally, his eyes lit up. He turned around and jumped up. After a simple wash-up, he went to see the Saintess. When Yun Chujo arrived at the main hall, the Saintess and Mama were chatting idly. When they saw Yun Chujo come in, Shang Envy's eyes lit up. Mama said, Miss Chujo, today is the 5th day. I wonder how the beautiful thing you said is going? Ah, don't mention it. I have overestimated myself too much. Yesterday, I tried to find a way to see that old bastard, Vice Palace Master Lu, but I got nothing. Yun Chujo sighed and said, Humph. Miss Choo Choo, are you lying to the Saintess? Asked Shang Envy. Vice Palace Master Lu is now the king of Shang Envy. Would you help the Saintess to deal with Vice Palace Master Lu for the so-called justice? The reason you lied was to gain the Saintess' trust, right? Saintess, this Lin Choo Choo is full of lies. Please don't fall for her trick, said Mama angrily. Shang Envy frowned. She looked at Yun Chujo. Lin Choo Choo, what Mama said is not without reason. I can't believe you just because you said something without saying anything. Come see me again when you finish your so-called beautiful task. You can go back now. Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and said, Shang Envy, just because we can't do business doesn't mean that I can't do it tomorrow. Well, Mama, I haven't had breakfast yet. Hurry up and get me something to eat. I'm starving. Shang Envy and Mama were speechless at Yun Chujo's ability to talk to herself. Shang Envy's tone became even harsher. Lin Choo Choo, don't you understand what I'm saying? Come see me again when you've done the beautiful thing you said. Shang Envy, you really want to kick me out? Alright, I'll tell you the truth. Actually, I don't have the ability to do anything beautiful. I just want to stay with you a little longer. I know. Because I can't get the mnemonic chant, Vice Palace Master Lu will chase me out of the Netherworld Palace sooner or later. He might even kill me. Before I die, I want to experience the feeling of having a mother again. Asabi, since you don't like me, then I'll leave. I deserve to be the unlucky one who doesn't have a mother. Yun Chujo cried as she spoke. Her small shoulders trembled, as pitiful as she could be. Sheng and Vi could not take it anymore. Although she knew that this little girl might have bad intentions, she still could not make up her mind. She sighed and said, "Forget it. If you're willing to stay, then stay. However, you don't need to dream about the mnemonic chant." Yun Chujo immediately smiled. "Sheng and Vi, I just need to stay by your side. I'm not interested in the mnemonic chant." Imama curled her lips. "Miss Chujo, no one can beat your ability to lie through your teeth. Aren't you interested in mnemonics? Aren't you afraid of being struck by lightning?" Yun Chujo glanced at Imama. "Imama, are you brainless? Why don't you learn your lesson? What right do you, a servant, have to tell me what to do? Do you think you can make the decision of Sheng and Vi? I want to chat with Sheng and Vi. Get out of here right now, or don't blame me for being rude." Imama flew into a rage out of humiliation and glared at Yun Chujo. Then she said to Sheng and Vi, "Sheng and Vi, this Lin Chuchu is obviously up to no good. You can't indulge her like this anymore. Besides, she wants to chase me out in front of you. She doesn't care about you at all. You old woman, you're really annoying. What's wrong with me and Sheng and Vi having a few words alone? I'm puzzled. You follow Sheng and Vi like a follower all day long. Are you protecting Sheng and Vi or spying on Sheng and Vi?" Yun Chujo curled her lips and said. Suddenly, Imama was like a cat that stepped on its tail. She retorted loudly, You're talking nonsense. Sheng and Vi, this Lin Chuchu wants to sow discord between our master and servant. It's really too detestable." Yun Chujo giggled and said, "Hey, what are you so anxious for? I was just guessing. Why are you reacting so strongly? Don't tell me you really have something to hide? Why are your eyes so wide? Don't tell me you want to bite me?" Sheng and Vi saw that the two of them were arguing more and more. She said coldly, "All right. Sheng and Vi, you can go down first. I will talk to her for a while." Hearing the saintess words, a trace of indignation flashed in the eyes of Sheng and Vi, and she left the main hall after taking her leave. Yun Chujo said with a volume that could be heard by Sheng and Vi, "Saintess, you're really too wise. That old devout granny Imama clings to you all day long. She says that she's protecting you, but I think she might be one of Vice Palace Master Liu's people." This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Imama's footsteps could not help but slow down. Then she heard the saintess gold voice. "Imama has followed me for many years and has always been loyal. She will never betray me. Lin Chuchu, if you still want let go of Imama, you can go back." Sheng Envious' voice was cold when Imama heard this. The corner of her mouth revealed a proud smile. Then she turned around and left. Yun Chujo ran to the door and looked out from the crack. Seeing that Imama had already gone far away, she jumped back to Sheng and Vi. Sheng and Vi looked at Yun Chujo with a dumbfounded face, wondering what this Lin Chujo was doing. Why did she look a little abnormal? "Sheng and Vi, what I said just now is true. I once overheard Vice Palace Master Liu and Zheng Mama's conversation and vaguely heard that there was a chess piece placed by your side. I think that Imama is the most suspicious," Yun Chujo said mysteriously. "Nonsense. When I was young, Imama had been serving me, not to mention that she had protected me many times," Sheng and Vi said unhappily. Yun Chujo took out a small stool and sat next to Sheng and Vi's seat. She continued, "Sheng and Vi, what I said is based on evidence. Think about it. She is like a follower all day long. She wants to be by your side all the time. Don't you think that she is spying on you? Think about it again. Is there anything that only you and she know, and Vice Palace Master Liu has exposed it?" Sheng and Vi was stunned. She recalled some things. People were like that. If they didn't expose it, nothing could be seen. However, once they became suspicious, many details that they didn't pay attention to became flaws. The more she thought about it, the more suspicious it became. Is there a lot of suspicious things about that Imama? Yun Chujo saw the change in Sheng and Vi's expression and had an idea. It seemed that this Imama had given herself away in the past. However, the beautiful mother did not pay attention to it. Maybe it's just a coincidence. There's no reason for Imama to betray me. Although Sheng and Vi was already suspicious, she still did not want to believe it. Sheng and Vi once or twice is a coincidence, But this time it's not a coincidence. As for the reasons for betrayal, there are many. For example, threats, bribing, or maybe she has a lover. Shang Envy's thoughts were immediately taken out of the play by Yoon Chuji's vulgar laughter. The corner of her eyes twitched. Although there are some suspicious points, we can't convict her based on mere suspicion. I will interrogate her so you don't have to care. Shang Envy, interrogating is so troublesome. I have a good way to make her reveal herself. I guarantee that it will be done cleanly and beautifully. Yoon Chujo said with a smile. What way? You just have to cooperate with me. In less than 5 days, this old pious woman will definitely reveal herself. Yoon Chujo said confidently. Shang Envy frowned and thought for a while. Okay, I will cooperate with you. However, if you can't prove that Mama is under Vice Palace Master Lu within 5 days, then don't come to see me in the future. Yoon Chujo said confidently, no problem. As long as you cooperate with me, I will definitely make that old fox reveal its true form. The two of them had finished their discussion and chatted for a while. After lunch, Yoon Chujo accompanied the Saintess to admire the flowers in the garden. After that, the Saintess and the Shang Envy went to the garden. There were a few times when Mama wanted to speak, but she was interrupted by Yoon Chujo. Mama gritted her teeth. She originally thought that Lin Chujo was just a gluttonous little girl who liked to play, but she didn't expect that she would be so difficult to deal with. Wasn't she also one of Vice Palace Master Liu's people? Why would she target her? What exactly was she planning? This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. It was not until sunset that Yoon Chujo skipped dinner and left. Just as Nanny E was about to explain, Shang Envy said, I am very tired today. We can talk about it tomorrow. Shang Envy stood up and left the main hall. Mama's eyes flickered and she gritted her teeth and left. Shang Envy saw Yoon Zhongqing. She told him everything. Husband, after Lin Chuchu said that, I really remembered a few things. Only the two of us and Mama knew about these things, but Lu Huanhua found out about them. Did Mama really betray me? Yoon Zhongqing thought for a moment, then he said, according to what you said, Mama is indeed suspicious. No matter what motive Lin Chuchu had, it would be good if we could really prove that Mama was a traitor. After all, if Mama was really a traitor, it would be too dangerous for us. Shang Envy nodded. Husband, that Lin Chuchu has too many evil ideas. I can't see through this little girl now. I don't know which of her words are true and which are false. But I just can't bear to treat her. Sigh. I guess you saw that she was about the same age as Xiao Hanio, so you felt pity for her. Look at the outcome of the matter with Mama this time, and then we can discuss how to treat Lin Chuchu. Yoon Zhongqing comforted her. After Yoon Chujo hopped back to the dormitory, Xiao Hanio used his spiritual sense to ask Master, how did you know that there was something wrong with Mama? Did she reveal any flaws? Yoon Chujo giggled. I didn't find any flaws in her. I just felt that she was a little displeasing to the eye. Although she looked like a loyal saintess, there were a lot of things that she was a little over the top. One look and you could tell that she was restless. I was just testing that old bastard Vice Palace Master Lu. I didn't expect him to say it himself. Master, if the Jin family hasn't replied, what do you plan to do? Of course it's to catch the head of the snake first. Find a way to capture that old bastard Vice Palace Master Lu, and then think of a way to control his direct descendants. The rest of the matter will be easy to handle. Although Yoon Chujo seemed to be fooling around these days, she had been thinking of countermeasures. The number of disguising pills was limited, and they could not be delayed forever. Moreover, there was no way to explain things to the Tianyuan Academy even if they delayed for too long. Master, it's not that I want to pour cold water on you, but there are not many people in Xiao Hanio's inner circle. Although he has the help of the Old Man of Heaven Lake, his spiritual power has been reduced in the Netherworld continent. Can he control the situation? The little black bird asked worriedly. Yoon Chujo smiled slyly. What are you afraid of? Aren't you Chi and the others? Do you think I have nothing better to do than play hide and seek with them? This is called emotional investment. Of course, you can also understand it as, simmer it slowly, boil the frog in warm water, and subtly influence it. Xiao Hanio silent. The black-hearted master's brain was not a human's at all. I originally planned to play some tricks, but for the sake of his little life, he had better stop in the future. The next morning, after the saintess had breakfast, she came to the main hall. Imama was already waiting outside the main hall. Sheng Envi was waiting for her in the main hall. Saintess, that Lin Chuchu obviously has bad intentions. She is trying to drive a wedge between our master and servant. My loyalty to you can be seen by the sun and the moon. You can't fall into her trap. Imama said with snot in tears. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. I have my own judgment. You don't have to say anymore. If the saintess had seen Imama like this in the past, she would have felt a little sorry, but perhaps it was because of psychological reasons. Now that she saw her like this, she only felt that it was very awkward to be pretentious. Seeing the saintess' gold attitude, Imama's heart tightened. Could it be that the saintess had already suspected her? No, it couldn't be. She had not revealed any flaws for so many years. How could she suspect her just based on Lin Chuchu's words? She must have thought too much. Just as Imama was thinking about it, she heard a clear voice say, "Saintess, I'm here. Did you miss me?" Imama turned around and saw that it was Yun Chujio. She snorted coldly and said, "Miss Chujio, did you learn all those etiquette for nothing? You actually barged in without being notified by the maid. It's really beneath your dignity." Yun Chujio blinked her eyes and said, "Imama, you've wronged me." This was approved by Sheng Envi. Sheng Envi dotes on me and specially approved me to come in without being notified in the future. What? You're lying. This is impossible. Sheng Envi, is what Lin Chuchu said true? Imama looked at Sheng Envi in disbelief. Unexpectedly, Sheng Envi nodded and said, "That's right. I think I have a good relationship with Chuchu, so I allowed her to come in directly without being notified in the future." Saintess, this Lin Chuchu harbors evil intentions toward you. How can you be so muddle-headed? Imama raised her voice. "Imama, are you questioning me?" Sheng Envi said unhappily. "I don't dare. I was just in a moment of impatience. Please forgive me, Saintess." Imama also noticed that her tone was a bit extreme, so she quickly knelt down to beg for forgiveness. "Forget it. This is the only time. It won't happen again. Imama, although you've been with me for a long time, Chuchu is still my master. Pay attention to your attitude when you speak to her in the future. If you continue to insist on doing things your way, don't blame me for not remembering our old friendship. Go down and prepare breakfast for Chuchu," the saintess said coldly. Imama's old face was red. She stiffly said yes and then walked out of the main hall. Imama's face was very gloomy. "You are too heartless. Although I have betrayed you a few times in the past, do you think you would still be alive if I hadn't meddled in the past few years? I didn't expect you to turn your back on me after hearing Lin Chuchu's words of provocation. It's really chilling." Imama's expression changed a few times and she gritted her teeth. She would observe for a few more days. If Sheng Envi still acted like this, then don't blame her for being ruthless. If one doesn't do for oneself, the heavens will destroy the earth. Not long after, Imama brought a maid to bring breakfast over. Yun Chujio ate happily. While eating, she said, "Saintess, I told you. The food here is still the best, Sheng Envi." The saintess said gently, "Since it's good, then you should eat more. In the future you can eat 3 meals a day at my place." "That's great. Saintess, you're really too good to me." Seeing that Sheng Envi and Yun Chujio were getting along well, the hatred in Imama's heart spread like poisonous weeds, and her expression became gloomy. Suddenly she heard Yun Chujio say, "Imama, why do you look so ugly? Don't tell me you don't want me to come here to freeload?" Imama had to force a smile and said, "Miss Chuchu misunderstood. It's just that I'm not feeling well today." "Oh, so you're not feeling well. Since you're not feeling well, don't just stand there. If you infect me and the Sheng Envi, we'll be in trouble," Yun Chujio said disdainfully. Imama's hands clenched together in her sleeves as she looked at the Sheng Envi. She thought that the Shang-En-Vi would definitely greet her with some concern. Unexpectedly, the Shang-En-Vi only said indifferently, "What Chu-Chu said makes sense. Since you're not feeling well, you should take the initiative to ask. If you infect Chu-Chu, it won't be good. Go down." A trace of malice flashed across Imama's eyes. She tried her best to suppress the dissatisfaction in her heart. "Yes, I will take my leave." After Imama left, Shang-En-Vi frowned. "Lin Chu-Chu, did we wrongly accuse Imama?" "Shang-En-Vi, you should call me Chu-Chu. How strange it is to call me by my first and last name. Didn't you call me very affectionately just now? As for whether I was wrongly accused or not, we will know very soon," Yun Chujo said with a smile. Shang-En-Vi sighed silently. Although she had found many suspicious points, she still did not want to believe that Imama would betray her. If even Imama could not be trusted, who could be trusted? For a few days in a row, Yun Chujo came to Shang-En-Vi's place to freeload. She stayed with Shang-En-Vi every day, and Shang-En-Vi was often amused by her laughter. On the contrary, the Shang-En-Vi's attitude towards Imama became colder and colder. She didn't even talk much. This morning, Yun Chujo didn't come to the Shang-En-Vi for free meals like she did a few days ago. She only came in the afternoon. However, she looked very lonely and her eyes were a little red. "Chu-Chu, what happened? Did someone bully you? Tell me, I will make the decision for you," the Shang-En-Vi asked with concern. Yun Chujo burst into tears. "Shang-En-Vi, I am leaving you. Vice Palace Master Lu gave me 2 days to obtain the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine. If not, he would kick me out of the Netherworld Shrine. He might even kill me in secret. Shang-En-Vi, I don't want to die." Shang-En-Vi frowned and sighed. "Chu-Chu, I don't want you to die either. But the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine is extraordinary. I can't teach it to you." I know. How could I put you in danger for my own safety? I'll just die. I've been happy these days anyway. I'm content," Yun Chujo said with a strong voice. The Saintess and Yun Chujo didn't speak for a long time. Imama couldn't help but gloat in her heart. She deserved it. Lin Chu-Chu was finally going to jump to the end. When Lin Chu-Chu was driven out, the Saintess would value her again. In the Saintess Palace, she was still the second most powerful person. Suddenly, the Saintess sighed. "Chu-Chu, you always have the most evil ideas. Don't you have any flexible ideas? I really can't bear to part with you." Yun Chujo touched her chin and thought for a while. Then she slapped her thigh. "Saintess, can anyone use that chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine? This has never been tried before. I don't know if everyone can successfully summon it." Yun Chuji's eyes lit up. "That's easy. Why don't you tell me the chant? And I'll modify it a few times before handing it over to Vice Palace Master Lu. If that old bastard Vice Palace Master Lu doesn't believe me, I'll show him once. Then I'll use the real chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine. If he can't summon it, I'll say that only those who are acknowledged by the Netherworld Spirit will be able to succeed. In that case, Vice Palace Master Lu will definitely find someone else to test it out. Then we'll be able to stall for some time. Who knows, we might be able to think of another way." This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. When the Saintess heard Yun Chujo say this, she did not say anything for a long time. It was obvious that she was a little conflicted. Imama hurriedly said, "Saintess, there are some things that I don't know whether to say or not. If you don't know whether to say or not, then don't say it. Can't you see that the Saintess and I are discussing a big matter? Don't you know how to avoid it? Do you really take yourself seriously?" Yun Chujo berated Shang-En-Vi unhappily. It was not easy for Imama to hold back the urge to fly into a rage. She said to Shang-En-Vi, "Shang-En-Vi, the mnemonic chant is of great importance. You must not hand it over to Lin Chu-Chu. Once she has ulterior motives and hands the mnemonic chant to Vice Palace Master Lu, your and young master's lives will be lost." When Shang-En-Vi heard what Imama said, her heart could not help but waver again. Imama was doing this for her sake. Could she really have wronged her? Yun Chujo was afraid that Shang-En-Vi would be deceived by Imama's acting skills. She quickly said, "Saintess, am I such an ungrateful person? I, Lin Chuchu, swear to the heavens that if I give the mnemonic to Vice Palace Master Lu, I will be struck by lightning and die a horrible death. Shang Envi and Imama were stunned. Shang Envi came back to her senses and coldly said to Imama, Chuchu has already made a poison vow, so she naturally won't lie to me. You can go out. I want to teach Chuchu the mnemonic, so it's not convenient for outsiders to be present. Imama was also confused by Yun Chujia's sudden vow. She really could not understand why Yun Chujia would make a vow. When she saw Shang Envi's firm attitude, she could only leave the main hall with dissatisfaction. However, Imama did not go far after she left the main hall. Instead, she stood by the door and looked inside through the crack. Chuchu, this chant is very complicated. I don't think you will be able to remember it in a short time. I will write it on a piece of paper for you. After you memorize it, you must destroy the chant, understand? Don't worry, Saintess. I know this is an important matter. I'll recite it diligently when I get back to the dormitory. After I've memorized it, I'll destroy the chant and copy a fake copy. That's not right. Your dormitory is too unsafe. You can recite it here. After you've memorized it, destroy the chant and return to the dormitory. That's fine too. I'll listen to you, Saintess. I'll recite it here. The Saintess picked up a pen and wrote a page full of paper, handing it to Yun Chujio. This is the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine. This is a page that concerns my life and death. Don't let anyone else see it except for you, understand? Don't worry, Saintess. I'll start reciting it now. Don't leave either. Stay with me. I'll feel more at ease. Yun Chujio said, all right. I have nothing to do anyway. I'll just stay with you. Hence, Shang Envi took out a book from her storage ring and flipped through it. Yun Chujio sat at the side, shaking her head and reciting the mnemonic chant silently. Imama gnashed her teeth in hatred. She had been hiding by Shang Envi's side for so many years, but she had not been able to obtain the mnemonic chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine. She had not expected Lin Chuchu to obtain the mnemonic chant in just a few days. No, she could not let this Lin Chuchu succeed. If she could memorize the chant, she would definitely look for Vice Palace Master Lu to claim credit. Although she had sworn an oath, she had many wicked ideas. She might have some other way, for example, she would tell the chant to a third person, and then the third person would relay it to Vice Palace Master Lu. If this Lin Chuchu really became the Saintess, she would definitely torture her to death. Instead of letting her claim credit, it would be better for her to obtain the chant and look for Vice Palace Master Lu. That way she would have the upper hand. Yes, let's do it. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Imama's mind spun a few times. If she wanted to get the mnemonic, she had to think of a way to get Shang Envi away and then find a way to get it from Lin Chuchu. Just as Imama was racking her brain for a way, Shang Envi suddenly said, Chuchu, I just remembered something. I'll be leaving for a while. You have to memorize it and never leave the main hall. Do you hear me? Saintess, don't worry. Although I'm naughty, I know this is a big deal. I won't act rashly. You go. Yun Chujio said confidently. The Saintess instructed Shang Envi a few more times before she left. Imama quickly jumped onto the roof and carefully restrained her aura. When the Saintess arrived at the entrance of the main hall, she paused for a moment. Imama was so nervous that cold sweat broke out on her forehead. Fortunately, the Saintess left after a brief pause. Imama saw that the Saintess had gone far away, so she jumped down from the roof and peeked through the crack of the door. She saw that Lin Chuchu was seriously reciting the chant inside Shang Envi. Imama gritted her teeth. Victory or defeat depended on this move. This Lin Chuchu was only at the 8th layer of the spirit sect. It would be effortless to take her down. She had to get the chant first. Thinking of this, Imama pushed the door open and walked in. When Yun Chujio saw Imama, she couldn't help but be a little stunned. Imama, what are you doing here? Didn't I tell you not to come in? Miss Chuchu, the Saintess was worried that it would be too dangerous for you to recite the chant here alone, so she sent this servant to protect you, said Imama with a smile. Is that so? The Saintess is really good to me. But this chant is not for everyone to read. Stay away from me. Yun Chujo waved the piece of paper in her hand and said proudly. Imama's lowered eyes flashed with ruthlessness. Yes, Miss Chu, just recite it in peace. I will stay away from you. As expected, after Imama finished speaking, she stood about 10 meters away from Yun Chujo. Only then did Yun Chujo lower her head and continue to recite. Just as Yun Chujo was diligently reciting, she felt a gust of cold wind blow at her. She hurriedly retreated and avoided it, but the paper in her hand was also snatched away by someone. Imama, what are you doing? Yun Chujo looked at Imama in surprise. Imama kept the paper in her hand into her storage ring. She sneered. What am I doing? Of course, she was going to ask for credit from Vice Palace Master Lu with this mnemonic. Lin Chujo, let's not beat around the bush. Although you and I are both Vice Palace Master Liu's people, you should never go against me. So this credit is mine. And you just wait to be kicked out of the Netherworld Hall. You're shameless. I was the one who got it. I will tell Vice Palace Master Lu the truth. I don't believe that Vice Palace Master Lu will believe you without any reason. Yun Chujo said angrily, her eyes were red with anger. Seeing Yun Chujo like this, Imama became even more proud. Do you think Vice Palace Master Lu believes you or me? I have endured humiliation and hid for more than 10 years. You are just a little girl who has just entered the palace. You're simply too despicable. Well, see. Vice Palace Master Lu will definitely punish you. Yun Chujo was so angry that she stomped her feet. Imama looked at her with contempt. You really don't understand Vice Palace Master Lu. Vice Palace Master Lu is the most realistic. He's only good to people who have value to him. Once there's no value to him, he'll kill you. This is also the reason why I've stayed by the Saintess side for so long. If you hadn't come out halfway, I wouldn't have made a move. Sheng Envy looked at Imama with disdain. Lin Chu, I'm going to see Vice Palace Master Lu right now. Just wait for your death. Ha ha ha. Imama felt that all the frustration she had been feeling for the past few days had been swept away, and her heart was filled with joy. I'm going to fight it out with you. Yun Chujo rushed up and was about to fight it out with Imama. A hint of contempt flashed across Imama's eyes, and she easily dodged Yun Chuji's attack. She said arrogantly, Lin Chu, you better be sensible. Your weak kung fu is no match for me. If you force me, I will kill you directly. Yun Chujo took a few steps back in disbelief. You dare? Why wouldn't I dare? You are just a useless chess piece. After saying that, Imama walked towards the door. To her surprise, she didn't even take a few steps when the door opened and Sheng Envy walked in. Imama didn't expect Sheng Envy to come back so soon, and she was stunned for a moment. Cold sweat broke out on her forehead, and she suddenly had an idea. She said loudly, Sheng Envy, you came at the right time. This Lin Chu just wanted to go out with the mnemonic chant. Apparently, he wanted to give it to Vice Palace Master Lu, so I snatched the mnemonic chant. The Saintess suddenly laughed, and Imama couldn't help but be stunned. Saintess, what are you laughing at? Imama, I think I treat you well. Why did you betray me? What benefits did Lu Huanhua give you? The Saintess sighed and asked faintly. Saintess, what do you mean? I have always been loyal to you. You can't wrong me just because of Lin Chu's instigation. Although Imama said so, Sheng Envy's eyes were still looking for the best time to escape. Sheng Envy's eyes were looking for the best opportunity to escape. Since the mnemonic chant had already been obtained, the Saintess wouldn't live long, so there was nothing to be afraid of. Imama, I heard what you said just now. Do you still want to continue to quibble? I really didn't expect you to be Lu Wanhua's man. Why on earth did you rely on him? Seeing that the matter had been exposed, Imama didn't hide it anymore. She sneered and said, Why? Back then you just walked away. Have you ever thought about the situation of us servants? I just wanted to live. If I didn't join Vice Palace Master Lu, do you think I could live to this day? The Saintess smiled bitterly and said, In that case it's my fault? I'm not in the mood to argue with you. Since you're Lu Wanhua's man, I can't accommodate you here. You should go. Sheng Envy said. Imama couldn't believe her ears. You're not going to kill me? So what if I kill you? You can leave. Sheng Envi said lightly. Although Imama couldn't figure out why Sheng Envi did this, she thought of using the mnemonic chant in exchange for a meteoric rise. Without any hesitation, she rushed to the main door of the main hall. Sheng Envi said faintly behind her, Imama, the mnemonic chant is fake. Imama's footsteps came to a sudden stop. Her head buzzed and her mind went blank. Was this a trap? A trap to lure her out? Imama, I once said that I wanted to do a beautiful thing. What do you think of me luring you into the trap? Or should I call it self-admission? Yun Chujo said with a smile. Imama turned around, she gnashed her teeth and said, You guys are too despicable. Sheng Envi, I have betrayed you a few times, but if it weren't for me, you would have died a long time ago. Don't you feel guilty for treating me like this? This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Sheng Envi said indifferently, Imama, I gave you a chance. It was you who didn't grasp it. If you had given up on betraying me when I asked you to leave, I would have let bygones be bygones on account of our master-servant relationship. Unfortunately, you didn't hesitate to betray me for your own benefit. Therefore, you brought this upon yourself. I brought this upon myself? You are ruthless. Let's wait and see. At this point, Imama was about to leave. Unexpectedly, Imama's feet suddenly staggered, and then Yun Chujo jumped over and threw a fireball at her. Imama's first reason was that her feet were unstable, and secondly, she was completely unprepared. Therefore, she was hit by Yun Chujo's fireball. She quickly rolled on the ground to extinguish the fireball, and Yun Chujo shot out a few more fireballs. Sheng Envi, what are you still standing there for? Why aren't you making a move? The Sheng Envi only reacted when she heard Yun Chujo shout. She raised her hand, and a crane materialized from spiritual power pounced on Imama. Although Imama was a spirit paragon, she could not withstand the combined efforts of Yun Chujo and the Sheng Envi. In less than 15 minutes, she was burned into ashes by Yun Chujo's fireball. Sheng Envi was still in a daze. Chu, although this Imama deserved to die, we killed her. What if Lu Huanhua did it for you? Don't worry, I have an excuse to deal with him. Sheng Envi, get someone to clean up the main hall. I'll go see Vice Palace Master Lu. Yun Chujo said indifferently. Sheng Envi could tell that Yun Chujo had an idea after this incident, so she didn't say much. She just told Yun Chujo to be careful. Yun Chujo walked out of the main hall, took out the sound transmission talisman, and gave it to Zheng Mama. Zheng Mama found an excuse to take Yun Chujo out of the Saintly Virgin Palace. Yun Chujo followed Zheng Mama to see Vice Palace Master Lu and said directly, Vice Palace Master Lu, I have made a big mistake. Please punish me. Vice Palace Master Lu was stunned. Miss Chu, why do you say that? I heard that you and the Saintess have been getting along very well recently. What crime did you commit? Vice Palace Master Lu, in order to gain the Saintess' trust, I was going to drag out Sheng Envi, but unexpectedly, she was so angry that she wanted to kill the Saintess. I had no choice but to help the Saintess kill Sheng Envi. I made the decision without permission. Please punish me. Yun Chujo looked guilty. Vice Palace Master Lu was stunned at first, then, he laughed out loud. Good kill. Good kill. Miss Chu, you did the right thing. This time you helped the Saintess kill Imama. The Saintess will definitely trust you more. It won't be long before you can get the mnemonic chant. As for that Imama, she dared to deceive me for her own selfish interests. She deserved to die. Yun Chuji's eyes widened in surprise. Vice Palace Master Lu. I don't even know what to say. You are really too lenient. Don't worry. I promise you that I will be able to obtain the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine in no more than a month. If I can't do it, it'll be at your disposal. Miss Chu is indeed a straightforward person. Good. Then I'll wait for your good news. Zheng Mama. Send Miss Chu back to the Saintly Virgin Palace. In the future, if Miss Chu has any requests, feel free to fulfill them. Vice Palace Master Lu thought about how his long-cherished wish was about to be fulfilled. His heart was very happy. Zheng Mama wanted to remind Vice Palace Master Lu a few words, but when she thought about how Vice Palace Master Lu was getting more and more obstinate, she held back her temper. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Miss Chujia's methods are really amazing. This servant is really impressed. Although Zheng Mama said it nicely, the tone of her voice was more mocking. If it was an ordinary person, they would definitely feel uncomfortable listening to it. However, Yun Chuzhou said with a smile on her face, "Oh, my Zheng Mama is really flattering me. I am just average. I will continue to work hard." Zheng Mama's face stiffened as she said coldly, "Miss Chuzhou, you better focus on the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine. If Vice Palace Master Lu finds out that you are playing tricks, the consequences will not be something you can bear." Yun Chuzhou was still smiling as she said, "What Zheng Mama reminded me is that I will definitely try my best to get the chant as soon as possible." Zheng Mama could not let go of the anger in her heart. Although Yun Chuzhou was smiling, she could feel the perfunctory intention in it, but she could not find any fault with it. Zheng Mama gritted her teeth and said with a fake smile, "In that case, this servant will wait for Miss Chujia's good news. A month's time is neither long nor short, as long as Miss Chuzhou knows it well. Don't worry, I know what to do. I will definitely succeed within a month," Yun Chuzhou said confidently. Zheng Mama saw that Yun Chuzhou did not hold back, so she did not say anything more. After sending Yun Chuzhou into the Saintly Virgin Palace, she turned around and left. Yun Chuzhou curled her lips. "Little girl, you still dare to threaten me? In a month's time, I will make you and your master die. Aya, the spy on the beautiful mother, has been removed, and we will be able to recognize each other soon. It's wonderful just thinking about it. I, Yun Chuzhou, also have a father and mother." Yun Chuzhou hopped to the main hall, but the saintess was not in the main hall. Yun Chuzhou tried to probe the two maids on duty, but they did not know that Mama was already dead. The saintess was not in the main hall, but the saintess was not in the main hall. Yun Chuzhou tried to probe the two maids on duty, but they did not know that Mama was dead. Yun Chuzhou blinked her eyes and had an idea in her mind. She hopped to find the hiding place of the secret guards. The secret guards were wondering why Lin Chuzhou did not come to find trouble today. They felt that they were lacking something if Yun Chuzhou did not find them every day. It had to be said that after Yun Chuzhou found trouble for so many days, their hidden skills had obviously improved. However, the Saintly Virgin Palace was limited in space after all. Yun Chuzhou could find them with a little effort. Therefore, Yun Chuzhou quickly pulled Yu Qi and the other three out. "Not bad. Your improvement is still very obvious," Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. Yu Qi could not help but smile bitterly. "Miss Chuchu, if we had really improved, we would not have been found by you so quickly." "Sai, if you think that way, you are making things difficult for yourself. Haven't you heard of a saying? No matter how cunning a fox is, it can't beat a good hunter, so you can't beat me at all." Yu Qi and the other five. Yu Qi decided to change the topic, so he asked, "Miss Chuzhou, did you just come back from the main hall?" Yun Chuzhou looked around and said mysteriously, "Something big happened." Yu Qi and the others immediately came in nervously. "Miss Chuzhou, what happened?" Yun Chuzhou hesitated for a moment and then gritted her teeth. "All right, we are on the same side. I'll tell you guys. Mama is dead." Yu Qi and the others were shocked. How is this possible? Isn't Mama a confidant of Sheng Envy? She usually stays by Sheng Envy's side. How could she die? Yun Chuzhou stretched her neck and looked around again. She lowered her voice and said, "That Mama is one of Vice Palace Master Liu's men. I don't know how she was discovered by the saintess. The Saintess was very angry and angrily scolded that Mama would be punished by the netherworld spirit like this. Who would have thought that Mama would turn into ashes? Don't you think it's strange? Yuchi asked incredulously. What? Directly turned into flying ash? How is this possible? Yun Chujo looked around again and said mysteriously, I saw it with my own eyes. After the Saintess said those words, that Mama was hit by something, and then her body turned into ashes. Do you think the spirits of the dead don't like people who betray their masters? Although Vice Palace Master Lu holds great power now, the Saintess is the true master of the Netherworld Palace. Will Vice Palace Master Lu also suffer retribution? Shang Envy asked Yuchi, and the other three could not help but feel a chill down their spines. Miss Chu Chu, could it be that the Saintess used some kind of secret method? At that time, I deliberately looked at the Saintess' expression. She seemed to be very surprised as well. She didn't say anything for a long time. Think about it, if she had such a method, wouldn't she have killed Vice Palace Master Lu long ago? Shang Envy asked. I reckon that the spirit of the netherworld was probably too lazy to care about these secular matters a few years ago. Now, seeing that Vice Palace Master Lu is becoming more and more outrageous, she made a move. I'm still very scared. Fortunately, I have a good relationship with the Saintess these few days and I don't have any bad intentions. Otherwise, I would probably have been killed too. Yun Chujo shivered and said with an expression of lingering fear. Yuchi and the other three were still somewhat skeptical. Yun Chujo said, of course, it's also possible that this matter is just a coincidence. However, I don't dare to go against the Saintess. If she takes the initiative to give me the Shang Envy, I will become the Saintess. If she doesn't want the Shang Envy, I will leave the Netherworld Hall. Yuchi hesitated for a moment and then said, Miss Chujo, I'm afraid that you can't make the decision yourself. Vice Palace Master Lu obviously wants you to replace him. How can he let you leave the Netherworld Hall safely? Yun Chujia's eyes reddened, tears fell down her cheeks. I know that even if I become the saint, I'll still die. Even if I don't become the saint, I'll still die. Since that's the case, I might as well leave a good reputation. 17 years later, I'll still be a peerless beauty. Yuchi and the other three. Miss Chu Chu, at this time you still haven't forgotten to brag about yourself? There was no one else who could be so narcissistic. Yun Chujo continued, I'm telling you, people like Vice Palace Master Lu will be despised sooner or later. Since the spirit of the netherworld can attack once, it can attack twice. Perhaps one day Vice Palace Master Lu will be burned to ashes. You guys should think of a way out as soon as possible. Yuchi and the other three were in a mess and didn't know what to say. Yun Chujo sighed, you guys can discuss it slowly. I'm going to die soon. I'm going to enjoy myself. Oh right, this is not a small matter. I'm not someone you trust. Don't tell anyone. Even if you do, don't tell anyone about me. Otherwise, I will definitely die. Miss Chujo, don't worry. We will not betray you. You have to be open-minded. There will always be a solution. Thank you very much. The righteous path of the human world is full of vicissitudes. A good person like me will definitely live for a very, very long time. I will go and find the others. See you later. Yun Chujo wiped the crocodile's tears with her sleeve and left. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Yuchi and the others looked at Yun Chujia's back and looked at each other. Do you think what she said is true? It's most likely true. Lin Chuchu wouldn't lie about something as big as Imama's death. Moreover, Imama's spiritual power isn't low. If they were to fight, it wouldn't end so quickly. However, we didn't hear any news at all. This means that she died very quickly. Maybe the netherworld spirit really did it. Now that you mention it, it does make sense. Could it be that the netherworld spirit really doesn't like what Vice Palace Master Lu has done? It's not impossible. Not only did Vice Palace Master Lu take over the Saintess, but he has also repeatedly invaded the Tianyuan continent over the years. That's why the netherworld spirit was angered. Sheng Envy said, then what should we do? If the Netherworld spirit thinks that we are Vice Palace Master Liu's accomplices, it would be terrible if he punishes us. The more the five of them discussed, the more they felt that what Yun Chujo said was true. In the end, they decided to find someone else to discuss it with. At most, they would not mention that it was Lin Chujo who said it. On the other side, Xiao Hanyo was conducting another routine interview. Master, can they believe what you said? What you said is too ridiculous. TCH. You don't understand, do you? Although what I said was a little ridiculous, those guards who worked for Vice Palace Master Lu had always felt a little guilty. Moreover, they were dissatisfied with Vice Palace Master Lu, so they would subconsciously believe what I said. If they don't believe me, we will just wait and see, Yun Chujo said slyly. Master, then what's your purpose in doing this? Is it to make them afraid? Xiao Hanyo still didn't understand. Silly bird. This is called creating momentum. I deliberately let them only tell the people they trust, but this person can't control his own mouth. Moreover, every time they spread the word, they would add some of their own ideas. Very soon, many guards would panic. When the time comes, I'll think of a way to appease master. TSK Xiao Hei, tell me, why is your master so smart? I almost admire myself. Yun Chujo said rather smugly. Although Xiao Hanyo was scolded as a silly bird, he had to admire his own black-hearted master. He played like a fish in water under the eyes of Vice Palace Master Lu. What was this called again? Yes, spy within spy, trap within trap. Yun Chujo was a little excited when she thought that she would be able to recognize her family the next day. It took her a long time to fall asleep. Early in the morning the next day, Yun Chujo hopped into the main hall. Needless to say, the Saintess really came. After she went back yesterday, she discussed with Yun Zhongqing for a long time. She wasn't sure whether Yun Chujo belonged to Vice Palace Master Lu or not. So this morning she was ready to hear what Yun Chujo had to say. Sheng Envy, I'm here. It's like 3 years since we last saw each other. Did you miss me? Yun Chujo jumped into the main hall and said cheerfully. Sheng Envy was full of worries, but seeing Yun Chujo's cheerful look, she couldn't help but feel relaxed. She smiled and said, have you had breakfast? I haven't eaten. Only when I see you can I eat well. Hehe. Yun Chujo shamelessly sat next to Sheng Envy with a small stool and acted cute. Sheng Envy really cannot stand the appearance of Yun Chujo acting cute. Quickly told the maid to Yun Chujo prepared breakfast. Soon breakfast on the table. Yun Chujo giggled to those maids said, you all go down, someone watching me, I cannot eat. Those handmaid inside corners fiercely twitch at the beginning young lady. You say this words do not have a guilty conscience? Every day we serve you here, and you wish you could lick the plate. Is this called not eating? You may leave. Don't let anyone in without being notified. Don't disturb Chush's breakfast. Sheng Envy knew that Yun Chujo wanted to talk to her about something, so she ordered. Yes. The maids all left and closed the door of the main hall. Yun Chujo ate a few mouthfuls randomly and then ran to the door. She made a big red cloth to cover the gap of the door. Sheng Envy was confused. What was Lin Chujo doing? After Yun Chujo came back, she took out the isolation array from her storage ring. After opening it, she said with a smile, Sheng Envy, are you satisfied with the beautiful thing I did yesterday? Choo-choo, although you helped me get rid of Mama, I can only trust you 70%. I cannot give you the chant to summon the Netherworld Shrine, Sheng Envy said and stared at Yun Chujo, wanting to see her reaction. Unexpectedly, Yun Chujo giggled. I'm not interested in that stupid chant. I only want you, Saintess. The Saintess was dumbfounded. You want me? What do you mean? Sheng Envy asked. Yun Chujo plopped to the ground and knelt. Her eyes turned red. Mother. I'm your little Jiao. The Saintess suddenly stood up from the chair and slowly sat back down. A cold smile appeared on her face. Lin Chujo, what kind of trick are you playing? Is this Lu one who has new idea? What did you do to little Jiao? Yun Chujo wiped her tears with her sleeve. Mother. I'm really your little Jiao. I took a disguise pill, so my appearance has become like this. If you don't believe me, I'll show you a bolt of lightning. After saying that, Yoon Chujio waved her hand to the side, and a bolt of purple lightning struck a chair, and the chair instantly turned into ashes. The saintess was slightly trembling, but she still said coldly, Lu Huanhua really went to a lot of trouble to find you, who also has a heavenly thunder spirit root, to deceive me. I won't believe you. Yoon Chujio took out a jade pendant from her storage ring. Mother, you should know this, right? After you and father went missing back then, grandfather finally found this jade pendant with great difficulty. He said that father brought it with him. Shang Envi took the jade pendant with trembling hands. Although she believed it in her heart, she still hesitated. Are you really Xiaojiu? No, that's impossible. Xiaojiu is far away in the Tianyuan continent. How could she come here? Mother, I caught a seed when I caught Zhou. You have been teasing me with this matter ever since. Also, when I was young, I loved to eat the 7-colored cake you made for me. But you were afraid that my teeth would hurt, so you only let me eat one when I performed well. I remember all this. When the Shang Envi heard this, she almost pounced on Yoon Chujio and said with a trembling voice, Little Jiu, are you really my little Jiu? Am I dreaming? Mom, little Jiu came to save you. Little Jiu is useless. I came late and made you and Dad suffer for a few more years. Little Jiu will definitely be filial to you in the future. When the Shang Envi heard Yoon Chujio say this, she hugged Yoon Chujio and cried. She cried so hard that she almost fainted. Silly child, mother is useless. All these years mother has been thinking about you day and night. She has been thinking about whether you will be bullied, whether you will starve or freeze. Mother's heart is almost broken. Yoon Chujio's heart was sour and sweet. Was this motherly love? Yoon Chujio saw that Shang Envi was crying very sadly, and was afraid that she would break down from crying. She broke out into a smile and said, Mother, can you take off your mask? I want to see if you are really my mother. Shang Envi glared at her and took off the mask on her face. Yoon Chujio immediately exclaimed, Mother, why do you look so good? You are simply not human. Shang Envi's face stiffened. Was this child happy? Why did he scold her for not being human? You're like a fairy descending to the mortal world. Mother, although I think I'm pretty good looking, compared to you am like heaven and earth. No wonder my father lured you back home. Yoon Chujio said with a smile. Shang Envi scolded with a smile, what nonsense are you talking about? You're already so old, you can't even speak properly. After Yoon Chujio's banter, Shang Envi's emotions calmed down a little. Then, she wiped her tears and asked Little Jiu, how did you come to the Netherworld continent? You're too bold. Lu Huanhua hates you to the bone. If he finds out, your life will be in danger. Yoon Chujio then briefly told Shang Envi what had happened. Shang Envi was stunned and felt that her brain was not enough. Little Jiu had single-handedly infiltrated the Netherworld Palace, and then passed through all the obstacles to become the final successor of Shang Envi? And she had even fooled Lu Huanhua? She had casually uncovered Imama, who had been hiding by my side for many years. Beautiful mother, although I fooled Vice Palace Master Lu for the time being, there's no guarantee that he'll react in time. Therefore, we have to find a feasible way to kill him as soon as possible. Little Jiu, your mother's mind is in a mess right now. You're smart, so we'll do whatever you say. Shang Envi felt that her little Jiu was simply too powerful. Mother, the most important thing for us to do now is to join forces. I've contacted the Jean family previously, but they haven't replied to me. I'm afraid that they might not be able to help us. I've invested in the secret guards of the Saintly Virgin Palace. I've also started to build up the momentum. When the time comes, there should be some people who can help us. But even if we add in those spies of your son-in-law, our strength is still very weak. So we must plan carefully and hit the target with one strike. Yoon Chujio said. The holy maiden's mind was attracted by the words, your son-in-law. She asked in surprise, Shang Envi, You and that D Biming are already married? No. Then why did you say that he is my son-in-law? What else can I say? I can't say that I'm good with him, right? Yun Chujo blinked her eyes and asked. Sheng'envi. Mother, your focus is off. Our priority now is to find a way to kill that old bastard, Vice Palace Master Lu. As for your son-in-law's problem, we can talk about it later. The Saintess nodded. Sheng'envi, before we take care of Vice Palace Master Lu, there's one more thing to solve, and that's your father's cold poison. Lu Huanhua, that bastard, used the power of the netherworld to hurt your father in order to blackmail me. Your father needs to take the pills provided by Lu Huanhua regularly, otherwise, the cold poison will take effect and he'll lose his life. Yun Chujo said with a smile. Cold poison? Mother, don't worry. The cold poison is just a piece of cake for me. I promise to get rid of it. Sheng'envi frowned. Nonsense. The cold poison was very overbearing. It could only be resolved if one could cultivate the power of the netherworld, or take a special pill to slowly remove it. However, the spiritual herbs needed for that kind of pill were very scarce. How could you cure it? This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. I am mother. Back then, your son-in-law was poisoned by the cold poison. I easily cured him. Then your son-in-law gave his body to me and cried and shouted that he wanted to marry me. My heart softened and I got along with him. Hehe. Yun Chujo shamelessly made up a lie. Sheng'envi did not know the twists and turns in the story and indeed believed it. Little Jiao, is what you said true? Can you really cure your father's cold poison? It really can't be any more true. However, this will take some time and it can't be eradicated immediately. It'll probably take a year. I've been waiting for more than 10 years, so it won't be any different from this year. Come with me to see your father. He'll be very happy to see you, Sheng'envi said happily. Mother, I can't see father right now. First, Vice Palace Master Lu knows that you value father very much. If you rashly take me to see father, he'll definitely be suspicious. Second, father's health isn't very good. It's not good for his health if his mood fluctuates too much after seeing me. Even when you talk to him, you should take it easy and let it permeate bit by bit, Yun Chujo said after thinking for a moment. The Saintess patted Yun Chujia's little head approvingly. Little Jiao is really smart. Even mother didn't think so much. Mother will listen to you. Then let's discuss the next step of the plan between the two of us. Yun Chujo and the Saintess discussed for a day, but they didn't have any good ideas. Sheng'envi and Yun Chujo didn't have any good ideas. Therefore, Yun Chujo said, Mother, we still need to take a long time to think about this matter. When you go back, think about it again. Is there any way to get the Jin family to cooperate with us? If we have the help of the Jin family, our chances will be higher. After the Saintess nodded and agreed, the mother and daughter went back to their respective residences. Sheng'envi and Yun Chujo went back to their respective residences. The Sheng'envi felt that she had drifted back to her residence. Seeing the Sheng'envi's strange expression, Yun Zhongqing asked Biyun what happened. How is Lin Chuchu doing? The Sheng'envi wished that she could tell the truth at once, but when she recalled Yun Chujia's words, she could only suppress the excitement in her heart and say, Husband, I think that Lin Chuchu really wants to help us. Moreover, the more I look at her, the more she looks like little Jiao. Do you think that she is little Jiao? Biyun, do you miss little Jiao so much that you have an illusion? How could little Jiao come to the Netherworld continent in the Tianyuan continent? Besides, isn't little Jiao a heavenly thunder spirit root? That Lin Chuchu is a fire spirit root. Yun Zhongqing shook his head and smiled bitterly. He felt that the Holy Maiden's idea was very unrealistic. Perhaps she has some cultivation technique that can change the output of spirit energy. I will test it again tomorrow. Husband, what do you think will happen if that Lin Chuchu is really little Jiao? If that Lin Chuchu really is little Jiu, he'll naturally be very happy. However, the possibility is too small. Biyun, since that Lin Chuchu is trustworthy, then you should think of a way to get her to help you stall for some time. Who knows, when that time comes, little Jiu might really be able to come and save us. Seeing that Yun Zhongqing had said so, the holy maiden could not directly say that Lin Chuchu was little Jiu. She decided to wait a few days before telling him the truth. The next day, the saintess arrived at the main hall without even having breakfast. She wanted to see Yun Chujiu earlier than Sheng Envi. Yun Chujiu had also arrived early. After the mother and daughter had eaten breakfast, Yun Chujiu handed a few porcelain bottles to the saintess. "Mother, this is a medicine to treat cold poison. Let father drink 1 bottle every day and his body will recover." After the saintess took it, she opened the bottle cap and smelled it. She couldn't help but frown. "Little Joe, what's inside? Why is there a bloody smell?" This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Mother, there's a special spiritual medicine called the 9 Heavens True Dragon Blood Transforming Vine. Its juice tastes like this. Don't worry, your son-in-law drank this well. However, don't put this medicine outside. It's better to put it in the storage ring. Xiao Hanyo inside the spiritual beast bag almost burst out laughing. The black-hearted master was really a waste of a name. 9 Heavens True Dragon? It was clearly your blood, alright? After Yun Chujiu went back yesterday, she let out some blood. But she was afraid that she would be exposed, so she added some water and some spirit medicine that didn't have much effect. Hearing Yun Chujiu's words, the saintess was relieved. Once she heard that the 9 Heavens True Dragon Blood Transforming Vine was a very high-level spirit medicine. This medicine would definitely be effective. After the saintess put away the porcelain bottle, she said to Yun Chujiu, "Little Jiu, mother remembered something when she went back yesterday." In order to show their submission to the Netherworld Hall, the Jin family gave the Jin family's most precious treasure, the Dragon Roar sword, to my father. Now that the Dragon Roar sword is in my hands, do you think you can use this sword as a condition? Yun Chujiu's eyes lit up. We can try this. With the Longyin sword, Jin Ji's father is quite well known. Let me communicate with Jin Ji. These days, Yun Chujiu had not contacted Jin Ji. This guy was very shrewd. This was also a game process. Whoever lost their cool first would lose the initiative. Beauty Jinji, did you go to get married and have children? Why hasn't there been any movement? Yun Chujiu said in a ruffian manner. Soon, the sound transmission talisman began to vibrate. Jinji's voice came from inside. Nonsense. After I told my father about your proposal, my father was a little tempted, but the elders in the clan didn't agree. They thought that the risk was too great, so I didn't reply to you. Beauty Jinji, I have already formed an alliance with the Sheng Envi. The Sheng Envi now treats me as her own daughter. Sheng Envi heard about our relationship and decided to give you the Jin family's Longyin sword as a gift. When we meet again, I will give you the Longyin sword, Yun Chujiu said with a smile. On the other side, Jin Ji did not reply for a long time. Yun Chujiu knew that Jin Ji must have gone to find her father. She was not stupid. How could Sheng Envi give her such a heavy gift for no reason? This was clearly a condition in exchange. Yun Chujiu did not hurry. She knew that there would not be a reply for a while. She said to the saintess, "Mother, the Jin family will probably need to discuss for a few days before there is a result. I have something to ask you." Sheng Envi was stunned. The saintess was stunned. What is it? Sheng Envi asked, "Do you still remember how Qing Lan tricked Jin Ji and me into the forbidden area a few days ago?" Sheng Envi asked. Jin Ji and I did enter the forbidden area, but I found a secret passage. There are 2 exits in the secret passage. One leads to the pavilion in the garden, and the other leads to an unknown place. I am going to take a look. Perhaps it will help us. Sheng Envi was shocked. What? There's a secret passage in the forbidden area? How come I don't know about it? Sheng Envy couldn't help but feel lucky. Fortunately, there was a secret passage. Otherwise, she would have personally framed little Jiu. It was really a close call. I'm also very puzzled. I thought there were some treasures, but there were only 2 secret passages. I guess the person who dug the secret passage must be full. Yun Chujo curled her lips and said. Sheng Envy glared at her. Don't talk nonsense. This secret passage must have been dug by our ancestors. Maybe it has some special purpose. Tomorrow is the first day of the Lunar New Year. I want to enter the Forbidden Land to deliver the spirit stones for worship. At that time, I'll take you in under the pretext of teaching you the process of worship. Let's see where the other secret passage leads to. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. That's great. Maybe there's a treasure vault at the end of another secret passage. If that's the case, we'll both be rich. Yun Chujo said with starry eyes. The saintess' eyes turned red when she saw this. Sheng Envy was greedy because she and her husband were not by her side, so she lacked a sense of security. She could only rely on these external things to increase her sense of security. She really let Sheng Envy down. Mother, although your beauty is pretty with tears in her eyes, my heart also aches when you cry. Don't be sad. Yun Chujo said with a frown. Good. Mother is not sad. Mother is too happy. No one has discovered the secret tunnel you mentioned for many years. I didn't expect you to discover it so quickly. Mother's little Jiu is really powerful. Mother, you will know how amazing I am in the future. Yun Chujo said shamelessly. Sheng Envy pointed at Yun Chujio's forehead and said, Who praises themselves? Tell me, what happened between you and Di Biming? Yun Chujo told Di Biming some things. Of course, this guy had done some processing and changed all his embarrassing parts. He was acting coquettishly and begging for mercy. He was acting cute and flattering, but it was all done by Di Biming. Sheng Envy felt that there were some parts of what Yun Chujo said didn't make sense, but she didn't have time to think about it. She said coldly, The palace master's wife actually despised you for not being good enough for Di Biming? Pooey. My little Jiu is the best girl in the world. And I even despise Di Biming for not being good enough for my little Jiu like a wooden stake. Yun Chujio's heart warmed as expected. There was a mother's child that was like a treasure. Mother, don't be angry. My aunt was only a little against me back then. Now she dotes on me very much. Moreover, I'm so smart. Every time she finds trouble, I always cheat her. My little treasury is now full of money. Even back then. This netherworld palace will belong to you in the future, little Jiu. Di Biming is just a master of the Temple of Immortals. He really isn't worthy of you. If the Temple of Immortals doesn't show some sincerity, Mother will definitely not agree to your marriage to that wooden stake. Sheng Envy said through gritted teeth. When she thought about how her precious treasure was actually put in such a difficult position, she really wished she could kick Di Linhan and the Lady of the Temple Master a few times. Yun Chujo stuck out her tongue and decided to let this matter go for now and wait for Sheng Envy to calm down before speaking. Hence, she changed the topic. Mother, where did I get that seed when I caught Zhou? Grandfather said it was your dowry. Is that true? Sheng Envy shook her head and said, How could I use a seed as dowry? I think your grandfather misunderstood. That seed was found on your body when I picked you up. I thought it was quite unique, so I kept it. I wanted to take it out to play with you when I caught Zhou. But I didn't expect you to hold on to it and not let go. Why did you suddenly think of asking this? It's nothing, I was just curious. Mother, what happened back then? Why did you go to Qingxian continent? Yun Chujo smiled bitterly in her heart. She thought that she would know the origin of the Guai Chao after seeing my mother. But she didn't expect that there was something else going on. However, I shouldn't let my mother worry. We'll talk about it in the future. Back then, your grandfather suddenly died. At that time, I felt as if the sky had collapsed. Lu Huanhua was helping out both internally and externally. In addition, your grandfather also intended to betroth me to him when he was still alive. At that time I also agreed to marry him, Shang Envi said. An angry expression appeared on her face. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Who would have thought that I would accidentally find out that this bastard was the one who killed your grandfather? Although I wanted to avenge your grandfather, the power of the Netherworld Palace was already in his hands. I decided to think of a way to escape first and then find an opportunity to take revenge. Lu Huanhua didn't think that I would know the truth, so the Netherworld Palace's security wasn't very tight at that time. I found an opportunity to escape. However, Lu Huanhua soon found out and sent many people to hunt me down. Later on, I really had no way out. I gritted my teeth and came to the border between the Netherworld and the Qingxian continent. After using a secret technique, I entered the Qingxian continent. However, I never expected that the spiritual power of the people of the Netherworld continent would be greatly reduced when they arrived at the Qingxian continent. My cultivation level was directly reduced to the 5th level of spirit enhancement. What was worse was that I was besieged by demonic beasts. Although I relied on the power of the Netherworld and the defensive spirit tools on my body to save my life, I suffered severe injuries and lost my memory. Fortunately, I met your father later on, and only then did I survive. If I hadn't rashly gone to the border, I wouldn't have been discovered by the people of the Netherworld Hall, and my family would still be living happily together. This is all Mother's fault. Xiao Jiu, will you resent Mother? Sheng Envi looked at Yun Chuzhou nervously. Yun Chuzhou smiled brightly. Mother, what are you talking about? If it weren't for you and Father picking me up back then, I would have died long ago. Besides, even if you and Father aren't by my side, I still have my grandfather and uncle. They are all very good to me. In the past, I was always fooling around and they didn't dislike me. So Mother, don't blame yourself. You just have to love me in the future. I am very easy to satisfy. You just have to give me all the treasures of the Netherworld Palace. The corner of Sheng Envi's eyes twitched. Little Jiu, we're not short of money. Don't be so greedy as a girl in the future. Mother, of course, the more money the better. You can't be reluctant to give it up, right? Don't tell me you want to give me a younger brother to fight with me for the family property? Yun Chuzhou said with a smile. What nonsense are you talking about? How rude. Sheng Envi's face turned red and spat at Yun Chuzhou. Hee Mother, what's there to be embarrassed about? Although I'm greedy, I'm still willing to share some of my younger siblings with them. You and Father haven't moved for so many years. Is it because of my father's health? This fellow asked shamelessly. Sheng Envi didn't expect her obedient little daughter to be so crooked. She poked her forehead with her hand and said, Mind your own business. You don't have to worry about your father and me. Mother, it's better to have a prosperous family. What was there to be afraid of? My Uncle Master's medical skills are superb. If it's because of your health, I'll let him take a look at you. Also, is your original name Lin Biyun? Yun Chuzhou never knew what embarrassment was, she said casually. Sheng Envi touched her forehead. Although she felt that Yun Chuzhou was really rude, she couldn't bear to scold her when she thought of the suffering she had suffered for so many years. Hence, she said, your father and I are both healthy. It's just that we don't have the fate of having children. I lost my memory back then, so I don't remember my real name. This Lin Biyun was also casually given to me by your father back then. Yun Chuzhou slapped her thigh. No wonder you never gave birth to a younger brother or sister for me. This is all my father's fault. What kind of name should I give him? Why did he choose such a name? Biyun, isn't that birth control? It's already birth control. It's weird that I can still have a child. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. The saintess was confused at first. Then she shouted angrily, "Sheng and Vi, what nonsense are you talking about?" Yun Chujo stuck out her tongue. "Mother, lower your voice. Although there is an isolation array, it would be bad if people heard it." The saintess frowned. Sheng and Vi was completely crooked. After the matter with Lu Huanhua was settled, she had to teach her a lesson. She was too outspoken. Yun Chujo did not know that her mother was going to teach her a lesson. She said with a smile, "Mother, what was your original name?" "Dongfeng Wanqing." "That's a good name, Mother. From now on, your life will be better," Yun Chujo said with a cheeky smile. The saintess glared at her. "All right, I'm going back to deliver medicine to your father. You go back first. Tomorrow morning, we'll go check out the tunnels in the forbidden area." Sigh. All right, in Mother's heart, father is still more important than little Jiao. Since that's the case, I'll go play by myself, Yun Chujo said with a smile and skipped away. Sheng Envi scolded her with a smile and got up to return to the back hall. When Sheng Envi saw Yun Zhongqing, she took out a porcelain bottle and said, "Husband, this is the medicine that Lin Chuchu gave me. She said that it has a miraculous effect on treating cold poison. Try drinking this bottle." Yun Zhongqing was stunned. He couldn't help but feel suspicious. Even if Lin Chuchu could be trusted, how could such a big thing like the medicine be so hasty? Yun Zhongqing's expression was serious. "Biyun, tell me the truth. Are you hiding something from me?" When the saintess heard the name Biyun, she inexplicably thought of what Yun Chujo said. She hesitated for a moment and then said, "Husband, can you call me Wanqing in the future?" Yun Zhongqing became even more suspicious. "Biyun, what exactly happened? Why do I feel that you're acting a little strange?" "Sheng Envi, there's nothing wrong. I just want to change back to my original name. If you don't want to continue calling me that, it's fine. Quickly drink the medicine." The saintess blushed slightly and didn't say much. "Biyun, if you don't tell me the truth, I can't drink this medicine. We've been married for so many years, what can't we say?" Yun Zhongqing placed the porcelain bottle on the table. Seeing this, the saintess could only tell the truth. "Sheng Envi, it's not that I want to hide it from you. I'm just afraid that you'll get too excited. No matter what I say next, you have to calm down." Yun Zhongqing laughed bitterly. "Biyun, what have I not experienced in all these years? Just tell me." "That Lin Chuchu is none other than our daughter, little Jiao. She took a face-changing pill." Lin Biyun briefly recounted Yun Chujia's story. Yun Zhongqing stood up immediately. You're saying that she's really our little Jiao?" "Husband, it's absolutely true." Not only does she have the heavenly thunder spirit root, but she also has the jade pendant that you always carry with you. She even mentioned a few things about her when she was young. She really is our daughter, little Jiao. Yun Zhongqing was so excited that he trembled slightly. It really is little Jiao? Little Jiao actually barged into the Netherworld Hall alone? And she even became the successor of the Sheng Envi? The Sheng Envi nodded. Just as she was about to tell Yun Zhongqing not to get too excited, Yun Zhongqing suddenly fell to the ground. His forehead was covered in cold sweat. It was obvious that the cold poison had taken effect. Husband, how are you?" The Sheng Envi was anxious and regretful. If she had known earlier, she would not have told the truth. The saintess was so anxious that she was about to cry. "Husband, do you still have the antidote that Lu Huanhua gave you? Quickly take it out and take it." Sheng Envi said. Yun Zhongqing said with difficulty, "No, I don't have it anymore." Just when the saintess was extremely anxious, she saw the porcelain bottle on the table. She quickly picked it up, pulled out the cork, and fed the medicinal liquid inside to Yun Zhongqing. After drinking it, not only did Yun Zhongqing not get better, he actually fainted with a choking sound. Husband! The saintess was completely dumbfounded. How could the medicine given by little Jiao make it worse? Could it be that the medicine little Jiao gave was wrong? The saintess didn't have time to think too much. She carried Yun Zhongqing and rushed out. Now, she could only go to Vice Palace Master Lu to ask for the antidote to save Yun Zhangqing's life. The Saintess carried Yun Zhangqing out of the back palace like a crazy Shang and went straight to the exit of the Saintess Palace. Yun Chuzhou was talking to Yu Qi and the others. When she saw the Saintess carrying a person out, she couldn't help but be stunned. She hurriedly ran over, opened the isolation array, and asked, "Mother, what are you doing?" The Saintess' eyes were red with anxiety. "Your father fainted after eating the medicine you gave him. I'm going to ask Lu Huanhua for the antidote now. Get out of the way. If you delay any longer, your father will die." "That's impossible. The pretty boy is fine even after eating it for a year. Let me take a look," Yun Chuzhou said hurriedly. Shang Envi was also desperate and put Yun Zhangqing on the ground. Although Yun Chuzhou didn't know much about medicine, she saw that Yun Zhangqing's breathing was stable. She checked his pulse with her hand and couldn't help but feel happy. "Mom, my father just fainted. It's nothing serious. Take a look yourself if you don't believe me." The Saintess was stunned. She was also worried and confused. When she saw Yun Zhangqing faint just now, she did not have the time to take a closer look. She subconsciously thought that something had happened. Now that she heard Yun Chuzhou's words, she took a closer look and realized that Shang Envi had fainted. As expected, Yun Zhangqing only fainted. The cold sweat on his forehead had disappeared. The Saintess felt relieved and could not help but collapse on the ground. Tears fell from her eyes. "Cough, cough, mother, this isolation array can only isolate sound, but the situation inside can be seen. You should at least pay attention to your cold and aloof image," Yun Chuzhou reminded. Shang Envi finally reacted, carrying Yun Zhangqing and quickly returning to the rear hall. Yun Chuzhou touched her nose, leaving just like that? "Miss Chu, what happened just now?" Yu Qi and the others curiously came up to her. The man that the Saintess was carrying seemed to have some hidden illness. The Saintess said that she was going to see Vice Palace Master Lu, but when I saw that the man was not in any serious condition, he just fainted. The Saintess saw that Shang Envi really did have some hidden illness, so she went back. The man was said to be the husband of the Saintess, but very few people saw him. It was just that her husband was sick, so why did he go to see Vice Palace Master Lu? They really could not understand it. "Do you know what happened?" Yun Chuzhou asked in confusion. One of the guards said, "Isn't it simple? It's probably because Vice Palace Master Lu poisoned that person, so only Vice Palace Master Lu has the antidote. Vice Palace Master Liu's methods are too vicious. I was so worried about the saint just now." Shang Envi said, "Yeah, I wonder if the Netherworld spirit will punish Vice Palace Master Lu. This is indeed a little too much." Yun Chuzhou coughed and said, "Fortunately, I have opened the isolation array. Otherwise, if what you said just now reaches the ears of Vice Palace Master Lu, you won't be able to live anymore. Be careful in the future." "Miss Chuzhou, thank you for your reminder, but most of the guards of the Saintly Virgin Palace don't like Vice Palace Master Lu. They won't betray us." "That's right. Look at how pitiful the Saintess was just now. She forced the Saintess into such a state. Vice Palace Master Lu will be punished sooner or later," said Shang Envi. "Even so, you should be careful. I'm going to find other people's hiding places." Yun Chuzhou touched her chin. Oh my, she didn't expect her beautiful mother to have such an unexpected gain. Sure enough, people sympathized with the weak. After saying that, Yun Chuzhou hopped away. However, when she found the other secret guards, she sighed and told them about what happened today. When she saw the indignant expressions of the guards, Yun Chuzhou secretly gave herself 32 likes. On the other side, after the Saintess carried Yun Zhangqing back to the rear hall, Yun Zhangqing woke up soon after Shang Envi. Husband, how do you feel?" the Saintess asked anxiously. "I feel more comfortable than I've ever felt in many years," Yun Zhangqing said with a smile. The Saintess was finally relieved. It seems that little Joe's medicine is very effective. I'm relieved. I was scared to death just now. I carried you to find Lu Huanhua. Fortunately, little Joe appeared and stopped me. Biyun, is that Lin Chuchu really little Joe? Am I not dreaming? Yun Zhongqing felt as if he was dreaming. Although he knew that this was the truth, he still needed to verify it. The saintess could only repeat Yun Chujia's story again. Yun Zhongqing could not help but laugh loudly. Good. Good. As expected of our good daughter. Yun Zhongqing asked some more questions, and then asked in puzzlement, Biyun, you asked me to call you Wanqing previously. What's going on? Is this also related to little Jiao? The saintess couldn't help but blush. She gritted her teeth and said, Little Joe said that Biyun is birth control. That's why we haven't had any children. Yun Zhangqing's face stiffened, and a thought flashed through his mind. His obedient daughter seemed to have grown askew. The next morning, the saintess brought Yun Chuzhou to the Forbidden Land, Sheng'envi. When it was time, the saintess began the worship ceremony. Sheng'envi kneeled on the futon respectfully and pulled Yun Chuzhou. Little Joe, kneel down. Yun Chuzhou pouted and knelt down unwillingly. She thought to herself, that damn spirit of the netherworld is not a good thing. It's too cheap. Sheng'envi took out a lot of top-grade spirit stones from her storage ring and placed them on the altar. Then, she said something like praying for the spirit of the netherworld to protect her. Yun Chuzhou looked at the shining top-grade spirit stones on the altar, and her claws felt a little itchy. Mom, will the spirit of the netherworld really take these top-grade spirit stones? Of course. Where else would those top-grade spirit stones go? Let's go and take a look at the secret passage you mentioned, Sheng'envi said. A thought flashed through Yun Chujia's mind, but it only lasted for a moment. When she wanted to capture it again, she couldn't remember. She could only move the altar away and bring Sheng'envi into the secret room. The saintess could not help but click her tongue in wonder when she went down to the secret room. She did not expect that there was such a secret room under the divine hall. Who was the one who built it? Yun Chuzhou followed the previous method, and let the saintess stand at the place where Jinji stood last time. She found the enchantment and said, Beautiful mother. This is the enchantment of the tunnel. Just as the saintess was about to attack the enchantment, she heard Yun Chuzhou say smugly, There's no need to use a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. My beautiful mother. Look at my little 9 thunderbolt needles. My little 9 thunderbolt needles are the battle needles that can break the enchantment. The saintess could only step back and watch Yun Chuzhou attack the enchantment with the little purple needles. Not long after, a gap was created in the enchantment. Sheng'envi was stunned. Yun Chuzhou said proudly, Beautiful mother. Actually, I still have the sudden rupture talisman, but that thing is too loud. Little 9's thunderbolt needle is more reliable. Sheng'envi casually praised her. Yun Chuzhou raised her tail. Beautiful mother, you'll know in the future. I'm very capable. I'm not bragging. In the Tianyuan continent, I'm known as Little 9 Fairy. I'm also considered one of the best among my peers. The saintess' eyes twitched. Little 9, since the enchantment has been opened, let's go into the tunnel first. Although Yun Chuzhou had not finished bragging, she had no choice but to bring the saintess into the tunnel. After the two of them entered, the entrance to the tunnel was sealed with a loud bang. Yun Chuzhou had the experience from last time, so she did not panic. After taking out the night pearl, she continued to walk forward with the saintess. Sheng'envi. Soon they arrived at a fork in the road. Yun Chuzhou pointed at it. Mother, this fork leads to a pavilion in the garden. We don't know where this one leads to. Let's go and take a look. Sheng'envi nodded. Okay, be careful. The two of them walked along the tunnel for another hour before they finally saw the end. Just as they were trying to find an exit, they heard a noise in front of them. The saintess and Yun Chuzhou looked at each other. Both of them activated their concealment talismans at the same time, and they were on full alert. Sheng'envi and Yun Chuzhou looked at each other. Yun Chujia's heart skipped a beat. The thought that flashed through her mind just now became clear, and she had a bold guess in her heart. Perhaps this tunnel was not dug by the ancestors of the beautiful woman's mother, but by outsiders. As for the purpose of digging, it was very simple. It was to go after the supreme-grade spirit stones. The supreme-grade spirit stones that disappeared previously were not taken away by the netherworld spirit, but stolen by someone else. If that was really the case, it was likely that this family had been doing this for several generations. It was a good plan. The accumulated supreme-grade spirit stones were enough to flourish a family. Just as Yun Chujio was thinking about it, the sound in front of her grew closer and closer. Then light shone in and there were voices of two people talking. Father, the supreme-grade spirit stones were much less last time. Could it be that the Sheng and V found something strange? Impossible. There hasn't been any problem for more than 1,000 years. How could there be a problem all of a sudden? The Sheng and V must have been careless, so she put less spirit stones. Maybe she will make up for it this month. TSK, Father, do you think the people of the Netherworld Hall are all idiots? Do you really think that the Nether Spirit will take away those supreme-grade spirit stones? Humph. They felt that the Netherworld Spirit was omnipotent. After all, we didn't have the power of the Netherworld, so there was no need to be afraid of the so-called Netherworld Spirit. Moreover, now that Vice Palace Master Lu has turned the Netherworld Palace into a mess, the Netherworld Spirit has yet to show itself, so it's hard to say whether the Netherworld Spirit is there or not. Let's just make a fortune. As he spoke, two people walked towards Yun Chujio and the Saintess. One was in his 50s and the other was in his 20s. They were obviously father and son, and their spiritual power levels were not even at the level of a spirit paragon, therefore they did not notice the Sheng Envi and Yun Chujio at all. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. Father, why did you leave so quickly? The spirit stones can't escape anyway. Besides, what if you run into the Sheng Envi? I think it's better to come back in the old days. It's a bit risky to come here on the first day of the new year. The young man complained. The Sheng Envi is always on time. She has left long ago. What's there to be afraid of? I still feel a bit uneasy after losing so many spirit stones last time. It's better to get them first. Yun Chujio had heard enough. She gestured to the Saintess and both of them launched an attack at the same time. The father and son had low spiritual power to begin with. In addition, Yun Chujio and the Saintess launched a sneak attack, so they were restrained in one move. After Yun Chujio restrained their spiritual power, she pressed on their acupoints, then she said with a smile, I really admire your ancestors for coming up with such a good idea of getting something for nothing. However, you guys are also quite greedy. Why don't you just give it a try? You don't know how to quit when the time is right. People really die for money. Although the father and son did not know Yun Chujio, they still recognized the saint's attire. They were immediately scared out of their wits. Saint, please spare my life. Saint, please spare my life. The saint was so angry that she was trembling. When she thought about how she and her ancestors were treated like fools by others, she wished that she could just slap the two people in front of her to death. Sheng Envi. Yun Chujio winked at the Saintess. The Saintess knew that Yun Chujio had many tricks up her sleeve, so she didn't say anything. Yun Chujio took out a sword and put it on the young man's neck, she said fiercely. Tell me honestly what's going on here. If you have a good attitude, I can help you plead with the Saintess. If you play tricks, not only you, but also your family will die. If the young man had not been struck by the acupoint, he would have collapsed on the ground. He said with a trembling voice, Please spare my life, fairy. Please spare my life. I'll tell you. Although the old man was more shrewd, he was now under the control of others and had no choice but to let the young man tell the truth. It turned out that the father and son's ancestor was a craftsman. This palace was renovated 1,000 years ago. When the craftsman was renovating, he accidentally found the secret room below. He also found that there was a passage in the secret room that led to the garden. Although the craftsman was very surprised, he did not say anything about it and continued to participate in the renovation. When he was working, he heard someone chatting. They said that every month on the first day of the month, they would offer a large amount of supreme-grade spirit stones to the spirit of the netherworld. He thought of the debt his family owed, and a greed arose in his heart. The craftsman took advantage of the fact that no one was paying attention to him, and hid in the dark room below. Although the craftsman found that there was one person missing, he could not find the person, so he just let it go. Thus, the craftsman began to dig a secret passage leading to the outside world. Halfway through, he swept up all the supreme-grade spirit stones offered and then continued to dig a secret passage below. The craftsman spent a whole month digging a secret passage. He estimated that he had already left the netherworld hall by a sufficient distance before he began to dig upwards. Then he took advantage of the high moon and the dark wind to dig out from within. He discovered that the exit was coincidentally on a cliff. After covering the entrance of the tunnel, he went home in high spirits. The craftsman originally only wanted to do this once. After paying off his debt, he wouldn't do it anymore. However, he wasn't satisfied. After he had squandered all the money in his hands, he did it again. After that, when he saw that nothing had happened, he became even more unscrupulous. Although he also used this money to do business later on, how could he get money so quickly? Thus, he continued to steal it, passing it down from generation to generation. This family had always lived on these top-grade spirit stones, and in the middle, they even spent a high price to buy a hidden array disc and place it at the entrance of the tunnel. This chapter is a preview. If you want to see a faster and more up-to-date chapter, please visit for more content. After listening to the young man's story, Yun Chujo rolled her eyes and took out a porcelain bottle from her storage ring. She poured out 2 pills and stuffed them into their mouths. This is my exclusive Yin Luo powder. If you don't have my antidote, you will die suddenly. Fairy, please spare my life. Fairy, please spare my life. The two kept begging for mercy. It's not impossible to spare your life. After all, this money is just a worldly possession. It's nothing, but the premise is that you have to be obedient. Yun Chujo held the sword and rubbed it against the young man's neck. Be obedient, be obedient. We will listen to you. What do you want us to do? Do your family members know about this secret passage? My family knows a little about it, but this secret passage is the foundation of our family. It has always been passed down to men and not to women. Only the father and son know the exact location of the secret passage. So only the two of you know the location. Then wouldn't I be able to kill you once and for all? Yun Chujo curled her lips. The foundation of our family? How shameless. Fairy, please spare us. Fairy, please spare us. We will never dare to come in again. The father and son were so frightened that their faces turned pale. They kept begging for mercy. Sigh, I am the most soft-hearted person. Listening to what you said, I am quite pitiful. However, if I let you go just like that, I cannot guarantee that you will tell others about this secret. What do you think we should do? Yun Chujo sighed and said, Fairy, fairy, we swear. We swear on our inner demons that we won't tell anyone about this. The two of them could not wait to start swearing, making the consequences of breaking the oath extremely serious. Yun Chujo rolled her eyes. Since you guys have sworn, we'll let you guys off for now. Take us out first. Yes. Yes. Yun Chujo opened their acupoints and brought the two of them to the exit. The young man found a hidden button and pressed it. A huge rock moved away. Yun Chujo climbed up and found that it was a cave. The cave entrance was covered with rocks and vines. It was indeed very hidden. Come here and draw a map of this place. If you make a mistake, I will twist off your head and kick it like a ball. Yun Chujo said to the young man fiercely. The young man was so scared that his hands were trembling. Not to mention drawing a map, even the lines could not be drawn straight. Yun Chujo kicked him away and asked the middle-aged man to draw a new map. The middle-aged man was slightly better. Although he was trembling a little, he still drew a map. Yun Chujo looked around and found that this place was about 100 li away from the River of Forgetfulness City, and less than 30 li away from the Netherworld Palace. You can go now, Yun Chujo said lightly after she put away the map. The father and son ran a few steps and immediately turned back. Fairy, please give us the antidote, Yun Chujo said with a smile. Don't worry. The Yamas Bane will not act up immediately. You can still live for 5 or 6 days. It's enough for you to arrange the funeral. The father and son were about to cry. They kneeled on the ground and begged for mercy. Fairy, please spare my life. Fairy, please spare my life. It's not impossible for you to want the antidote, but you have to do something for me. Fairy, let alone 1, even 100 is fine. Just tell me. When they heard that they didn't have to die, they naturally promised. Hurry to the River of Forgetfulness City now and wait at the bell tower at the south of the city. Someone will naturally look for you. When the time comes, just listen to his instructions. I will ask him to give you the antidote, Yun Chujo said lightly. You're tuning into the Li Mei Sword of Destiny YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.